Good evening, baseball fans, and welcome back, welcome back. So every year it happens on a night in February, year after year after year. It's something that is become a tradition every year. And that tradition is something that renews my love for this game. It's great heroes, it's great stories, it's great myths. Our great arguments, our agreements, our disagreements, whatever they may be, that we have one thing in common is a love for the greatest game in the world. And these aren't mere athletes. These are legends. Fools. They come from every walk of life and everywhere and all backgrounds. And every year on this night in particular, I try to do something related to this beautiful game. While many others have allowed themselves to be caught up in what is frankly an inferior game. That's right, I'm talking about baseball. And so every year I do something, whether it's read a book or watch a movie, or lately, thanks to Cousin Ken Castro, who's the first one in tonight's broadcast. Hello, Aaron. Tonight's broadcast has inspired me to do something special on this night when, again, tomorrow we'll be talking about commercials, when after our great championship series, we talk about the game. And I was looking around and thinking how to really begin what we're going to do here tonight. And it's just ultimately fun. It's family gathered around. And some of you will be watching that other game. You'll have it on in the background. And that's all cool. There'll be a lot of people not showing up tonight because there's all kinds of games out there, and I get it. But not to get too maudlin, but for all the things that I've read and all the things that I've experienced, what I want to read to you, and I don't do it as well as the actor who did it, was the thing that I think captures it for me. And this is that great speech made by James Earl Jones. Because of copyright strikes, I wanted to play it in the background, but I'll read it to you. And I hope you'll indulge me, because for me it captures in beautiful simplicity the essence of why I have loved this game and will continue to love this game. And why I'm not a sports fan, but why I'm a baseball fan. And I think that's an important distinction. And that doesn't make me superior. Certainly not. If anything, I recognize that I'm a fool, and that's okay. I'm a better person for it. When you look at this picture of these 7 lined up here, these are legends. These are legends. And every child that grew up in that era, there's Greenberg and Fox, DiMaggio, I mean all of these guys. To them, these were heroes just as much as I would say as the great heroes and all the odysseys of ancient Greece, through all the legends of our time, from King Arthur and Robin Hood, and dare I say others. And for those of us who had not grown up with these heroes, we had our heroes. And then we went back further in time and found even more. Larger than life, all of them. Sure, they had regular jobs. Yeah, they were playing a game, and in the off season, they were doing what they do. But in that beautiful space between those white lines, on, as what Billy Crystal said in the Ken Burns baseball documentary, in that beautiful green that seems to just fan out forever. Watching the groundskeepers at the beginning of the game, setting the foul lines, making sure the batter's box is perfect. The pristine plates, the pristine bases placed first, second, and third just perfectly. Everything. That home plate that's about to be the victim, if you will, of great feats and great sorrows, if you will. That beginning is just perfect. And I thought that no words that I could come up with could capture it. So, again, I don't have the voice of James Earl Jones, but I love this. So please indulge me, and then we will go and start into the games proper. Ray. People will come, Ray. They'll come to Iowa for reasons they can't even fathom. They'll turn up your driveways, not knowing why they're doing it. They'll arrive at your door as innocent as children longing for the past. Of course, we won't mind if you look around, you'll say. It's only $20 per person. They'll pass over the money without even thinking about it, for it is money they have and peace they lack. And they'll walk out to the bleachers and sit in shirt sleeves on a perfect afternoon. They'll find they have reserved seats somewhere along one of the baselines, where they sat when they were children and cheered their heroes. And they'll watch the game, and it'll be as if they've dipped themselves in magic waters. The memories will be so thick they will have to brush them away from their faces. People will come, Ray. The one constant through all the years has been baseball. America has rolled by like an army of steamrollers. It has been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again. But baseball has marked the time. This field, this game, it's part of our past. It reminds us all of all that once was good and could be again. People will come. People most definitely will come. So, I know that many of you share my love for this great game. And so tonight, in my humble little way, it's going to be a celebration of family. A celebration of family, a celebration of all of us together as we gather together here on an almost nightly basis, whether it's here or, with Robbie or Steve Tate or our Red Sox fans or even the other channels, whomever they may be, RJO Network, because we love this game. And through all the changes that has gone through, we still love it. And we await this week when pitchers and catchers report. And we always look for optimism. Because on that first day, on opening day, everybody's in first place. And even though you know that your team is not going to contend for that one day, there is that hope. And didn't Ernest Thayer capture it best in Casey at the Bat when he says, hope springs eternal? And he was right, True, the poem isn't anything worthy of Shakespeare. Certainly not of Lord Byron, but in its way it does capture and encapsulates everything about this beautiful game. This and its sequel, Casey's Revenge, which fewer people are familiar with. Casey triumphs. And isn't that what it's about? That here we are gathered together and we love a game where its greatest players fail 70% of the time. Where our hero pitchers, right, they've got to throw a ball in such a manner in a small space and get it past a person who is paid well to hit it, and they're paid well to make him miss it. This is the only team sport in which there is individual confrontation, as Doris Kearns Goodwin, historian, so eloquently put it. That same confrontation between pitcher and batter is really no different than between two combatants in a boxing ring. Because no one can hit for you. And you couldn't go to Lou Gehrig or Reggie Jackson or Ken Griffey Jr. whenever you wanted, like you can in the inferior sports. You had to wait for Griffey Jr., for Babe Ruth, for whomever to come up. You couldn't bring in your best pitcher whenever you wanted. He needed rest. It's a grueling game. It's a long schedule. It's the most difficult. It defies and it seduces, doesn't it? Right? It defies convention because it looks easy, because we play in our little softball leagues and our companies or our friends or our little pickup games, and think back as children how you could play baseball anywhere and how you created those rules. Ghost man on second, which Major League, of course, for a little while adopted. It didn't matter. If you played stickball in New York, how many sewer lids did you hit the Spalding? If you played stickball in Pennsylvania, you were wailing that rubber ball against that brick wall and hoping that the other guy wasn't going to hit it. You bounced it off of garage roofs, and how many bounces was how far. What kind of hit was it? One bounce was a single, two was a double. Playing the games that we play vicariously of this game that we love so much. Cards and dice. We had a beautiful discussion of it the other night. Where Ken and the Cubs, the Bears, and Pib 99 were sharing their priceless memories of playing APA and playing Strat for the very, very first time. And how priceless was that? This wasn't just about three people talking about games. It was much, much more than that. And it was for them, as it is now in our digital age, being with these heroes and being with the GOATs in the old-fashioned sense of the word. And while others can watch 22 people in faceless helmets and you don't know who they are, you know who these guys are. And again, to borrow from the Ken Burns documentary, this is a game that is a haunted game. No matter, players today, you're a great hitter. You are haunted by the ghosts of Ty Cobb and Hannes Wagner and Ted Williams. If you're a pitcher, the specter of Rube Waddell, Walter Johnson, all of them, Carl Hubble, you are measured against the past. Statistics in other games are just that, statistics. But a 300 hitter means something more than a statistic. A 20-game winner. All of those things, even statistics, in my humble estimation, transcend. Because so-and-so made so many field goals, is that the same as somebody who hit 300 or more 4 seasons in a row? He was a 300 hitter. He was a 20-game winner. And so I hope we have some fun tonight and we talk about baseball and we enjoy these what-ifs of these Game 5s, these pivotal games of each of these World Series. To those of you listening later or perhaps whinging and whining that these aren't exact replays, there's plenty of resources you can find. Tonight is going to be a time to have some fun, as it is every night. And so I welcome all of you, whom I consider my family, my friends, that we get together and we enjoy something that is absolutely amazing. So, with that said, we are going to switch over to Out of the Park Baseball 23. And welcome in everybody who's here. 5 of us: Cousin Ken Castro, Aaron Reed, MV, Clee Baseball Fan, 879. Welcome in. And to any who decide to join us later. So what I've done for tonight is I've created 2 World Series in Out of the Park Baseball. I've played each of them to a pivotal game. So first up tonight will be the 1935 World Series. So let's go and let's do our recap. Feel free to talk and chat about baseball at some point. We're going to have Aaron Reed on for a little bit, probably between games. We'll talk a little bit of baseball, then we'll go into our nightcap. And I think we're going to do it that way. So if you guys enjoy, roll up a game. If you are watching that other game, enjoy it. Whatever brings you bliss is good. To me, this is what brings me bliss. So in this replay of the 1935 World Series, in both of these, I want to thank the channel for voting on these. Cousin Ken Castro had suggested these two series. There were two others suggested. And I forget the other one, 1934. So once again, thank you to Cousin Ken Castro for inspiring me to continue to do this. It'd be easy to just watch The Natural or watch Field of Dreams, but I wanted to hang out with you guys tonight. I wanted to hang out, and so thank you for coming in. And I know most aren't going to stay. Many aren't going to stay, but that's fine. I get to still do my tradition. All right, the Chicago Cubs leading the Detroit Tigers 3-1. So in both of these games tonight that we're going to be doing of these World Series, that will be the case. One team could win it, or the other team could force a Game 6 and keep it going. So in game number 1, the Cubs defeat the Tigers 4-3. The winning pitcher was Lon Warneke, and Schoolboy Rowe, the loss. We can look at box scores later if we want. Chuck Klein, we were talking about him, had a home run in game 1. In game 2, the Cubs once again take down the Tigers 4-1. In game 3, the Tigers win their first one, defeating the Cubbies 5-2. Game 4, the Cubs defeat the Tigers 6-5, and here we are today in Chicago. Schoolboy Rowe and Lon Warneke, a rematch of Game 1. Will Chicago win it all, or will Detroit force a Game 6? Let's get to the ballpark. Looking at our lineups here, teams very, very evenly matched. For the visiting Detroit Tigers of 1935, leading off in right field, Pete Fox. Batting second in left field, Hall of Famer Goose Goslin. Batting third, second baseman and Hall of Famer Charlie Gehringer. In the cleanup spot at first base, Hall of Famer Hank Greenberg. Batting fifth and catching, Hall of Famer Mickey Cochran. Batting sixth in center field, G. Walker. Batting seventh at shortstop, Billy Rogel. Batting eighth at the hot corner, Marv Owen. And pitching and batting ninth, Schoolboy Rowe. Schoolboy Rowe in 1935, a record of 19 wins, 13 losses, a 3.69 earned run average. He fanned 4.6 per 9 innings and walked 2.2. For the hometown Chicago Cubs, leading off in left field, Augie Galen. Batting second in center field, Frank Demery. Batting third and catching, Hall of Famer Gabby Hartnett. Batting cleanup in right field, Hall of Famer Chuck Klein. Batting fifth at second base, Billy Herman. Batting seventh at third base, Stan Hack. At shortstop and batting number 7, Billy Jurgis. Batting eighth at first base, Phil Cavaretta. And taking the mound and batting ninth for the Northsiders, Lon Warneke, who in 1935 had a record of 20 wins, 13 losses, a 3.06 earned run average. He fanned 4.1 per 9 innings and walked 1.7. Settle in. Let's have fun. Grab a beverage. Grab a snack. And let's play some baseball. An earlier Wrigley Field, of course. The scoreboard standing out there. And we are ready to get underway. Game time temperature here in Game 5 of this replay, a reenactment, or a what-if of the 1935 World Series. Sky's clear, and it's a perfect day for October baseball. It's 52 degrees, and the wind blowing out to center at 10 miles per hour. Stepping in to face Lon Warneke. Warneke is 1-0 in the series, 10 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. He's walked 2, struck out 1 with an ERA of 1.80. Is the right fielder for the Tigers, Pete Fox. Pete Fox hitting just 167. Good contact hitter, average power. Hartnett finishing the warm-up pitches, receiving the warm-up pitches. Full count now coming in from Lon Warnicki to Pete Fox, and we are underway. Here's the wind and the pitch. Fox swings, grounder to third, up with it and over. Stan Hack making the play. Cavaretta grabbed this one, threatening to sail high, but brings it down in time to retire Fox for out number 1. Goose Goslin now in the series, hitting .500 with 3 runs batted in. Lefty steps in against Lon Warnicki, who has the sign from Gabby Hartnett. Here is the wind and the 1-0 to Goslin. Goslin sends this one to center field, ranging over and under it and bringing it down is Frank Demery. 2 away here for Detroit for Charlie Gehringer. Gehringer hitting .333. He has a run batted in. Warnicki rubs up the ball, sets and fires. Full count to Gehringer. Gehringer swings. Grounder deep to third, and the throw across the diamond. Nice play by Stan Hack once again to retire Gehringer, and the top of the first is over. No runs, no hits, or errors. We go to the bottom of the first, Detroit nothing, and the Cubs coming to bat. Leading off for Chicago, Augie Galen. Galen hitting .250, a run batted in for him. There's only been 1 home run hit, by the way, for the Tigers, and that's the man we'll see lead off in the top of the second, Hammer and Hank Greenberg. The Cubs, however, 3 home runs, 2 by Chuck Klein and 1 by Stan Hack. Galen steps in on the left-hand side of the box. Mickey Cochran now into the crouch. The delivery from Schoolboy Rowe. Galen. First pitch swinging, grounder to third, and this one a high throw by Marv Owen, but 1 pitch, 1 out to retire Galen, and that brings up Frank Demery, the center fielder, hitting .214. Digs in on the right side of the box. Schoolboy Rowe peers in, has the sign from Mickey Cochran, the wind and the 1-2 delivery to Demery. He swings, this one a sinking liner to center and caught. Walker making the nice catch out there in center, so 2 away for Gabby Hartnett, who in 1938 would hit the infamous homer in the Gloman against the Pittsburgh Pirates. 167 for the Chicago catcher, just 1 run batted in. Schoolboy Rowe, leg kick, and here's the pitch. Hartnett swings, hard ground ball, sharply hit to short, and Rogel up with it onto Greenberg, and Hartnett is out. The Cubs go quietly. We go to the top of the second, and we are scoreless, and say hello to everybody in here again, and just catching up on the chat. So, Glee Baseball fan says, well, now I might have to get to call the cable company again when I try to upload a YouTube video. The internet goes kaput. Sorry to hear that, Tim. That is terrible, terrible, terrible. All right. So Aaron Reed indulging in a foot-long meatball sub. And Aaron Reed saying it's just another Sunday night of baseball for him. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Ken Castro having it says espresso in baseball and Big Clue. Celebrate good times. You got it. Hammer and Hank Greenberg hitting .235, 4 runs batted in, including a home run. Warnicki fires it in to Greenberg. Fearsome hitter. And Greenberg sends this one long fly ball to center, but this is going to stay in the park and down into the glove of Frank Demery. 1 up, 1 down here. Cheers going up around Wrigley Field, and here is Mickey Cochran. And for those of you wondering, yep, this is pretty accurate. We've come to know the ivy is a thing, but this is a nice recreation by modders. And if you have out of the park baseball, make sure you get this mod. The new Out of the Park baseball due out probably, I'm guessing, in about 6 weeks. Mickey Cochran hitting a solid 308 with 3 runs batted in. Warnke delivers to the lefty catcher. The 1-0. Cochran swings. This one should be a base hit into center, and it does. Gets down in front of... This one getting down in front of Demarice. So Cochran aboard. First base hit in this game, and that brings up G. Walker. Walker hitting .444, having a great series so far. Warnke with a check of Cochran at first. He wheels and deals. First pitch swinging. This one a soft fly ball into left. And this one right down into the glove of Augie Galen. Retreating to first is Mickey Cochran. 2 away for Billy Rogel. Billy hitting .312 with a run batted in. Warnke winds and fires the 1-0 delivery. And this one a base hit into center field. So the Tigers with 2 aboard and 2 out. Cochran on second, Rogel at first, and here is third baseman Marv Owen having a dismal series. He is 0 for 8, does have a run batted in. Runners into their lead, and the 1-1 delivery to Owen. Owen smacks this one to second, and he will be retired, and so will the side. Detroit strands 2. We go to the bottom of the second. It's the Tigers nothing and the Cubs nothing here in Game 5 of our recreation, if you will, of the 1935 World Series. Following this, we'll have a very brief baseball chat, and then on to Game 5 of the 1929 World Series. That 1929 Philadelphia A's team is who the Ned McGreevy All-Stars will face in our All-Star game close to the end of the season. Chuck Klein stepping in now. Klein, of course, should be one of Cousin Ken Castro's favorite players from the storied history of the Phillies. Klein here with the Cubs. Klein hitting just .133, but 3 runs batted in, 2 home runs. Schoolboy Rowe fires it in. Count even on Klein. Klein swings, and this one driven to right, but right into the glove of Pete Fox. Nice play on that screaming liner by Chuck Klein. 1 away for second baseman Billy Herman, who is hitting .294. Herman has a run batted in our World Series. Schoolboy Rowe rears back and fires to Billy Herman. Herman swinging on the first pitch. Base hit center field. Herman will round first, and he will hold. So that will be the first hit for the Cubs here in the bottom of the second. And that brings up Stan Hack. Stan Hack hitting .273, 3 runs batted in. Home run for Stan Hack. Bats lefty, excellent contact hitter. Herman will steal the occasional base. He's into his lead. Rowe checks the runner. The 1-1 now. Oh, the throw over? And Herman is picked off. So Stan Hack back in the box. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, grounded to first, and taken to the bag himself by none other than Hank Greenberg. Side retired, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on. We're scoreless as we head to the top of the third. Welcome in to Todd B. Fun trivia, since you mentioned him earlier, Stan Hack is the only player in Major League history to lead the league in caught stealing, 5 straight seasons. For a guy that stole only 165 bases in his entire career, Big Clue says that's incredible. Ken Castro talking about Chuck Klein, saying one of his favorites, of course. All right, so Billy Herman caught napping, and that did it. Let's get to the top of the third. Schoolboy Roden at the top of the Tigers' order, and Pete Fox and Goose Goslin. Lon Warnke with the 1-2 delivery to Schoolboy Rowe. Had 3 home runs in the regular season, but this time just a big swing and a miss. So Warnke picks up his first strikeout of the game. Back at the top of the order now, and Pete Fox. Fox 0 for 1 in the contest. Here is the delivery. Fox swings, comebacker to the mound, and Rowe up with it, or Warnke up with it and over to Phil Cavaretta to retire Fox. So this game gets a little bit different to call than Action PC Baseball, so pardon the occasional gaffe, but then again, I'm not a professional. Here's Goose Goslin now. Goslin 0 for 1. Warnicki sets and fires. Goslin, base hit into right. So this one getting up the line past Herman and into right field for a clean base hit. So Goslin aboard for Charlie Gehringer. Gehringer also nothing for 1. Detroit with 3 hits, Chicago with 1. 2 down here in the top of the 3rd inning. Warnicki delivers to Gehringer. Gehringer swings, easy grounder to second. Billy Herman has it for the 4-3 putout, inning over. The Tigers strand 1, and we go to the bottom of the 3rd, and we are scoreless. Billy Jurgis, Phil Cavaretta, and Lon Warnicki due up. Schoolboy Rowe ready to face him now. Cochran flashes the sign. Schoolboy Rowe with the 0-2 delivery to Jurgis. This one catches the outside corner for a strike. Looked like Cochran might have pulled that pitch back in quickly. So 1 away, and here is first baseman Phil Cavaretta. Cavaretta hitting .400 in the series with 3 runs batted in. Schoolboy Rowe with the delivery now. Cavaretta swings, and this one stroked to right. This will get down for a base hit. Cavaretta aboard. That's the Cubs' 2nd hit in the game. Cheers going up here around Wrigley as Lon Warnicki steps in. Corners in, looking bunt with 1 down. Rowe delivers now. Warnicki gets the bunt down. It's a good one. Tigers' only play will be to first as Cochran with the barehanded toss down to first to Greenberg to retire Rowe, and Cavaretta now in scoring position. Back at the top of the order for the Cubs and Augie Galen, who's nothing for 1. So Cubs threatening to draw first blood here in the bottom of the 3rd. Rowe delivers. 1-0 pitch. Galen high fly ball to right. This one looks routine, and it certainly is, down into the glove of Pete Fox. The Cubs manage a hit. They strand 1 in scoring position. We go to the top of the 4th. Still no score here in Chicago. Hammer and Hank Greenberg, Mickey Cochran, and G. Walker due up. Greenberg nothing for 1. Lon Warnicki has a strikeout through 3 innings of work. He winds and delivers to Hammer and Hank. Greenberg, liner to left, and nice play by Augie Galen coming in on that sinking liner. 1 away. Catcher Black Mike Mickey Cochran, 1 for 1 at the dish. Warnicki's 0-2 delivery to Cochran. Cochran swings, comebacker to the mound. Warnicki having trouble getting it out of the glove. And Cochran, they're going to give Cochran the infield hit. So the Tigers picking up base hit number 4, 1 down, and that brings in G. Walker. Nothing for 1. Cochran, decent lead at first. Warnicki checks the runner. The delivery now to Walker. Flied out his last time up. Walker, another comebacker. And Warnicki turning the 1-4-3 rare double play. Cubs face the minimum despite allowing a base runner. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Still scoreless. Game moving along very, very quickly. Frank Demery will lead it off here, followed by Gabby Hartnett and Chuck Klein for the Chicago Cubs. Demery nothing for 1. Schoolboy Rowe with 1 strikeout. The 2-1 pitch to Demery. He swings. This one looks like a Texas leaguer to right, and it does dump in there for a little base hit. A little bit more of a throaty response here from the Wrigley faithful. We do have some Tigers fans in the stands that have made the trip from Detroit to Chicago for Game 5 today. Packards abounding all around the city in the Brownsville section here of Chicago. Gabby Hartnett now, nothing for 1. 1 on, nobody out for Chicago as Rowe delivers. And this one stroked into center, base hit. And Demery takes second. He thought about third, but he holds. So 2 aboard for Chicago. Demery at second. Hartnett at first. Demery with some occasional speed. And here is Chuck Klein. And the swing of the bat, Chuck Klein can do some serious damage for the Cubs. Klein nothing for 1. Rowe has the sign. Ready to deal. Payoff pitch to Chuck Klein. And they're going to walk him. So this one missing, ball 4. The Cubbies have loaded the bases, and here is Billy Herman. There is no place to put him. Frank Demery at third, Hartnett at second, Klein at first. Rowe with a walk and a strikeout. Waiting on deck is Stan Hack. Nobody out. Bases loaded. Can the Cubs make something happening here? Here's the swing. High pop fly in the infield. Going out on the outfield grass to make the catch is Billy Rogel. Infield fly called on that one. 1 down. Bases remain loaded for Stan Hack. The lefty stands in against Schoolboy Rowe. Rowe delivers to Hack from the stretch. This one gets away and from Cochran, and coming in to score on the wild pitch is Frank Demery. So Chicago, courtesy of a Schoolboy Rowe wild pitch, takes an early 1-0 lead here. Runners in scoring position. Hartnett at third, Klein at second. Stan Hack back in the dish at the dish. 2-1 on him. Billy Jurgis waits on deck. Let's see what Schoolboy Rowe decides to do. The wind and the delivery to Hack. Hack swings. Easy grounder to short and up and over for the putout of Stan Hack. So Rogel coming in quickly on that little slow roller. 2 away, and it's up to Billy Jurgis to try to put a crooked number here for the Chicago Cubs in the bottom of the 4th. Jurgis, nothing for 1. Schoolboy Rowe working from the stretch in the 1-1 delivery to Jurgis, who struck out last time, and this time base hit to center, and 1 run is in. And here's the throw to the plate, the tag, and they got Chuck Klein. But Billy Jurgis picks up the RBI single, and the Cubs extend their lead to 2-0. So 2 runs on 3 hits. Klein just not enough speed. Gunned down in the outfield assist. We go to the top of the 5th. The Chicago Cubs 2, the Detroit Tigers nothing. Chicago looking to win it all here today in 1935 in Game 1 of our World Series twin bill. Billy Rogel, Marv Owen, and Schoolboy Rowe due up. Welcome in to D. Scott Howers. He says, I thought I saw Hack kick the catcher's mitt. All right. So glad to see so many of you in on this night. And remember, this week, pitchers and catchers report. Wait all winter. Though we haven't had much of a winter, it's going to be in the 50s and 60s here in the Commonwealth this week. Excited about that one. All right, so Lon Warnke enjoying a 2-0 lead as we get to the middle part of this game. Billy Rogel, 1 for 1 on the day. Base hit his last time up. Rogel swings. Grounder to second. Up with it quickly is Billy Herman. And fires it on to Phil Cavaretta for the 4-3 putout. 1 down, and here is Marv Owen. Marv Owen, nothing for 1 today. 2-0 your score. Larnacke deals the 3-1 pitch to Owen. Grounded out his last time, and solid base hit into center. The Tigers picking up base hit number 5 in this game. And here is Schoolboy Rowe. No real power there, of course. In fact, in his career, he's only hit 5. Not a lot of speed in Marv Owen at first. Corners in, as you would expect. Warnke deals now. Rowe swings. Solid base hit, center field, and here come the Tigers. And the Chicago Cubs fans incredulous that Schoolboy Rowe should get a base knock of Lon Warnke, and yet there it is. So Marv Owen at second. I'm sorry, Schoolboy Rowe on first off that Clean liner from Lon Warnicki, straight up the middle. And here's Pete Fox. We're back at the top of the order for the Motor City Cats. Nothing for two for Pete Fox today. Warnicki looking for an inning double play situation. Pete Fox is an excellent contact hitter. Warnicki delivers. Payoff pitch to Pete Fox. Fox pops this on the right-hand side and coming over and making the catch. In foul territory is Phil Cavaretta. 2 down, 2 on, 2-0 your score in favor of the Cubs. And here is Goose Goslin. Left fielder 1 for 2 today. Goslin swings, lofted, lazy fly ball to left. Lots of alliteration. Inning over as Augie Galen puts it away. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left on. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. The Cubs leading the Tigers 2-0 and looking for a World Series win here today. And here is Phil Cavaretta, will be followed by Lon Warnicki, and then the top of the Cubs order, Augie Galen. Cavaretta 1 for 1. Schoolboy Rowe, a strikeout and a walk through 4. Rowe with the 1-1 delivery to Cavaretta, who singled his last time up and will do so again. Base it up the middle, and Cavaretta is on board. 6th hit for the Cubs in the ball game. Teams tied in hits. No errors in this game thus far. Cavaretta against somebody that will occasionally nick a base. And here's Lon Warnicki. Detroit playing in, looking bunt. 1-1 to Warnicki. He gets a good bunt down. Sacrifice complete. Cavaretta now in scoring position. Chicago looking to add to this 2-0 lead. Back at the top of the order now in Augie Galen. 0 for 2 against Schoolboy Rowe and the Tigers. Rowe with a 2-2. Oh, he could not hold up. So Cochran asking for the appeal, and the ump says he went around strike 3. And that will take care of Galen. 2 down, runner still in scoring position in Phil Cavaretta. Frank Demery 1 for 2, little Texas leaguer to right his last time up. Rowe brings it home now. Demery swings, no doubt about this one. Not a Texas leaguer. Clean base hit. This one looks like it's going to be an RBI. No, yes, the throw to the plate is off target. Demery or Cavaretta will score. And Demery moves to second on the error. 3-0 now, Cubs. So the Cubs getting some help from an errant throw and a wild pitch. Plating one here in the 5th. It is now 3-0. Detroit must win this game to stay alive. And here is Gabby Hartnett. Hartnett 1 for 2. Demery in scoring position. 1 for 2 with a single is Hartnett. Fly ball deep to left. And this one is gone. Gabby Hartnett with a 2-run shot over the left field wall, much like he would do in 1938 in that homer in the Gloman. 385 feet from home plate. And the Cubs now with a commanding 5-0 lead over the Detroit Tigers. Cubs wanting to end it all here in this game 5. And here is Chuck Klein wanting to join the hit parade. The line for these teams thus far: for Chicago 5-8-0, Detroit 0-6-1. Chuck Klein 0 for 1. Schoolboy Rowe fires it into Klein. Klein swinging on the first pitch. High fly ball to center. And the park will definitely hold this one. Down into the waiting glove of G. Walker. So side retired, but Chicago scores 3 times. And we go to the top of the 6th. It's the Cubs 5 and the Tigers nothing. Hope you guys are enjoying. Here's Big Clue says Cubs working hard to win their first World Series since 1908. Could happen in our channel 2 years ago. Robbie Wartburg's 2011 Rangers won the World Series on this channel. Again, allowing the AI to handle everything in this game. I don't want any interference in it from me. It is a what if. Chicago will go wild should the Cubs do it today. Charlie Gehringer, Hank Greenberg, and Mickey Cochran. So in the middle of this lineup, the 2, 3, 4, 5 hitters, all Hall of Famers for these Tigers. Gehringer bats left. He is nothing for 2. Warnicki fires it in the 2-1. And this one a little dribbler to second. And Billy Herman has it. On to Phil Cavarretta for 1 out. Here's Hank Greenberg. In our earlier doubleheader that we did today, exhibition game, Hank Greenberg, 3-run homer. Ty Cobb would hit a 3-run homer 2 innings later in that game today. That was Steve Tate's. It was a different file that Steve Tate did of franchise greats based on a 5-year average. Good stuff. And that was Tigers and Indians. It was a good game, though. The Indians actually won the game, but despite the exploits of Greenberg and Cobb. So I hope you will check that out. It was a fun doubleheader. Warnicki delivers now to the dangerous Hank Greenberg. Greenberg swings. This one up the gap and left for extra bases. This one rattling around against the stands, and Greenberg is going to be in there with a 1-out double. So Detroit with a runner in scoring position. That is base knock number 7. And here's Mickey Cochran. Cochran a perfect 2 for 2 at the dish today. Warnicki with a quick glance at Greenberg at second. Peers in, has the sign from catcher Gabby Hartnett. Here's the delivery to Cochran, the 1-1. And Cochran laces this one to left. This is going to get down for a base hit. Greenberg rounding third, and he will score easily. And Detroit picking up its first run here in the 6th. It's now the Cubs 5 and the Tigers 1. Cochran aboard at first, 1 away for G. Walker, nothing for 2. Warnicki deals to Walker. Walker swings. This one could get down for a base hit, and instead, nice play by Frank Demery coming in quickly and a bit to his right to make the catch. Retreating to first is Mickey Cochran, 2 away. 1 in for Detroit and 2 down. For Billy Rogel, 1 for 2 in the game. Warnicki fires it in. Rogel swings. Easy grounder. Meyer to Cavarretta. Or Herman to Cavarretta, and that does it. But the Tigers do get a run on 2 hits. No errors. A runner left on. And we go to the bottom of the 6th inning at Chicago 5 and Detroit 1. Robbie Wartburg, he said he still curses Freeze's name from 2011, though. Big Clue says to Robbie that he and ID Jester ought to replay that series head-to-head. That would be a blast. Jester, of course, an absolutely rabid Cardinals fan. Oh, and then Big Clue says, but to use psychological warfare, you should only agree to it if you can talk Jester into playing it in Strat. Well, that's a series that's never going to happen. Big Clue always thinking of the angles. Working the angles, he is. All right. So Billy Herman, Stan Hack, and Billy Jurgis do up for the Cubbies here in the bottom of the 6th. Cubs holding a 5-1 lead, looking to win it all here today. Herman 1 for 2. Schoolboy Rowe has 2 strikeouts. He's issued 1 free pass. Rowe delivers to Herman, who popped out. And this time strokes 1 to center. This is going to get down for a base hit. So Pete Fox, or G. Walker, playing that one on a hop. So here comes Chicago again, and Stan Hack. Runner aboard for Stan Hack. Nothing for 2. Schoolboy Rowe. Hack gets the bunt, and a little pop bunt, and coming in for it, Greenberg staying on the ball, catches that little pop-up. Billy Herman has to stay frozen at first. Nice play by Hank Greenberg. Billy Jurgis now. He is 1 for 2 with a run batted in for the Cubs. Rowe fires it in, 1 down. And the runner goes to throw down, and gunned down is dead to rights. Billy Herman. He is gone at second. Cubs playing a little running game, a little experimentation with a 4-run lead here. Jurgis back in the box. The 3-1 pitch to Billy Jurgis. This one inside. Jurgis draws the walk, so the caught stealing could hurt the Cubs a little bit. Phil Cavaretta now. Cavaretta, perfect 2 for 2 at the dish. Schoolboy Rowe delivers. Cavaretta singled his last time up. Ground ball deep to third. Up with it and over is Marv Owen to retire the sire. So 2 base runners in the inning. The Cubs do nothing with them. We go to the top of the 7th, and it's 5-1. Marv Owen, Schoolboy Rowe, and Pete Fox due up for the Tigers. Marv Owen has been successful once in 2 tries. Warnicki deals. Marv Owen swings, fly ball into the gap. Going over in center is Frank Demery. Demery calling off Galen, making the catch. 1 up, 1 down for Schoolboy Rowe. 5-1. We'll see what Detroit decides to do with Rowe, as Warnicki ready to fire it in. Count even on Rowe. He will stay in. Come back to the mound. Warnicki not able to get the runner in time. Hurries to pick it up. Almost drops the ball. Holds on to it, but by that time, Schoolboy Rowe is on first. So they award Rowe the hit. So these teams tied in hits at 9 apiece. Top of the order now in Pete Fox. Hartnett sets the target. 1 down. Warnicki delivers to Pete Fox. Popped out his last time up. Fox sends this high fly ball to center, going back and over, and bringing it down is Frank Demery. Schoolboy Rowe gets back to first. 2 down for Goose Goslin. Goslin 1 for 3. Warnicki wheels and deals to Goslin. Flied out his last time up. Goslin swings. This one hit. Well hit. Way back. It is gone. Frank Demery watches it go by. Home run number 1 for Goslin in the postseason. 395 feet. And the Cubs now feeling the Tigers breathing down their necks. Score 5-3, turning into a ball game here. Detroit knowing what's at stake. Gehringer steps in now. Charlie nothing for 3. Warnicki winds and fires the 1-1 to Charlie Gehringer. Grounded out his last time. Gehringer swings. This one's going to get... Oh, what a play in right field. That one looked like a base hit, but Chuck Klein making the diving catch right off the grass. 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors, nobody left on. And the Tigers cutting into the Cubs' lead. It is now 5-3 as we head to the bottom half of inning number 7 after our brief 7th inning stretch. Hope you guys are enjoying Game 1. And to see some good chat going on here. D. Scott Howard. And everybody's doing some great chat. And of course, Big Clue, bringing in a little bit of a sort of heresy, a semi-Pelagianist. All right, Lon Warnicki will lead it off for the Cubs, and then the back of the top of the order, and Augie Galen and Frank Demery. Schoolboy Rowe still in there. He has walked 2 and fanned 2. 5-3 Chicago lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Rowe delivers to Warnicki. Warnicki swings, pop fly on the infield, and sauntering out on the grass and making the catch is Charlie Gehringer. 1 away, back and now the top of the order, the number 1 hitter. Augie Galen, frustrated nothing for 3 for the left fielder. Rowe fires it in. Galen swings, and this one a liner to right and right into the glove of Pete Fox. Nice hustle out there and right for 2 away. And Frank Demery 2 for 3 with a run batted in for the Cubbies center fielder. Schoolboy Rowe has the signs from Mickey Cochran. The 2-0 delivery to Frank Demery. Demery swings, and this one down the line to right. This is going to be for extra bases. Demery is around first. Heading for second is Pete Fox up with the ball. Gets it to the cutoff man. but not in time as Frank Demery pulls in with a 2-out double. So the North Siders of Chicago with a runner in scoring position trying to add to this 5-3 lead. 2 away, bottom of the 7th for Gabby Hartnett. Hartnett, 2 for 3. 2-run shot for Hartnett in this game. Rowe delivers. And base hit. That was a little doubter kind of Texas leaguer. Hartnett aboard. Both teams now in double digits. That's the 11th hit for the Cubs. Detroit has 10. And here is Chuck Klein. Chuck Klein could put this game out of reach. Thus far, though, nothing for 2. Demery at third. Hartnett at first. Rowe from the stretch and the 1-0 to Chuck Klein. Klein swings, little blooper, and down into the glove of Billy Rogel. Side retired. The Cubs threaten but do not score. We go to the top of the 8th. It's Chicago 5, Detroit 3. Due up, Hammer and Hank, Greenberg, Black Mike, Mickey Cochran, and G. Walker. Greenberg, 1 for 3. Lon Warnicki asks for a new ball. One's tossed out to him. He rubs it up. And we're ready to get underway. The leg kick, full count to Greenberg. Payoff pitch. Greenberg swings. This one hit a ton. And you can kiss it goodbye. Detroit within 1 run. Greenberg piled into that one. 384 feet to right. And Detroit is within 1. At one time in this ball game, the Chicago Cubs, up to the end of the 5th inning, held a commanding 5-0 lead. Detroit came back with 1 in the 6th, 2 in the 7th, and 1 here in the 8th. And here is Mickey Cochran. Cochran perfect today at the plate. 3 for 3 with a run batted in. Is it falling apart for Lon Warnicki, and do the Tigers force a game 6? Warnicki comes home with it now. 2-2 pitch. Cochran swings. Routine grounder. Herman up with it onto Cavaretta at first for the 4-3 putout. 1 down. And we will see a pinch hitter now for the Detroit Tigers and JoJo White. JoJo White hitting just .091. Successful once in 11 tries. Bats from the left. Average contact, below average power. Warnicki deals payoff pitch to JoJo White. White swings, base hit into left field. Here come the Tigers. 12th base hit for the Tigers. White thought about second. Augie Galen, good enough arm there, and JoJo White just getting limbered off the bench. Will hold first. 1 down for Billy Rogel. Rogel 1 for 3 in the game. Warnicki winds and fires. Rogel swings, grounder to second. They will not turn the double play, however. Herman will go to second for 1. But JoJo White with a hard slide and puts Billy Jurgis on his posterior. And we will see Ray Hayworth now to pinch hit for Detroit. Hayworth is just 1 for 2 in the series. Well, not too bad. Warnicki now fires it in to Hayworth. Hayworth cuts and misses. Strike 3. So the 8th inning is complete. 1 run on 2 hits. We go to the bottom of the 8th, and the Cubs, feeling the pressure now, holding on to a 5-4 lead. At one time, it was 5-0 baseball fans. Billy Herman, Stan Hack, and Billy Jurgis. Cochran with the sign. Schoolboy Rowe shaking him off. Has one he likes. Here's the delivery. The 1-2 pitch to Herman, to Billy Herman. Herman swings, and this one laced into left. Base hit for Billy Herman. These teams now tied 12 each. Hits. Detroit holding the lead, if you'd like to call it, in errors. And Chicago holding the lead in runs. So Herman aboard for Stan Hack. Stan Hack, 0 for 3. Stan Hack does have a home run in this series. Overall hitting .214 as of this at bat. The delivery now to Stan Hack. Hack swings, and this one line to left. and played perfectly by Goose Goslin. Goose Goslin throwing it back quickly to Greenberg at first, and getting back is Billy Herman. So Goslin almost doubling up Billy Herman. So one away for shortstop Billy Jurgis. 1 for 2 with a run batted in for him. Rowe winds and fires. And this one outside, ball 4. Jurgens draws the free pass. And Schoolboy Rowe has now walked 3 hitters. And here's Phil Cavaretta hitting in the number 8 slot. Cavaretta, 2 for 3, 2 on, 1 down. Bottom of the 8th, Chicago holding on to a 5-4 lead. Schoolboy Rowe whips it in there. First pitch swinging, high fly ball to right, going back, and at the wall. Making the catch is Pete Fox. Tagging up and moving to third is Billy Herman. So 2 away. Jurgis at first. We'll get back to first. And here's Lon Warnicki now. Will Warnicki bat with 2 down here? And Chicago threatening for more? He will indeed. Warnicki swings. Come back to the mound. Rowe up with it. He'll go to first. The Cubs threaten, but they do not score. They get a hit and a walk, and they strand 2. We go to the 9th. Detroit with 3 chances to tie it up, or Chicago winning its first World Series since 1908. A lot of the boys home here and in the stands. The would be if I had my ears right. I'm half asleep. All right. Anyhow, we'll forget that comment. Robbie Wartburg, our man in the truck, will edit that out later. I don't know why 1945 popped into my head, except at the Cubs, 1945. All right. Here's Rowe, 2 for 3. And Schoolboy Rowe. This is what you get when you spend all night with your female particle. Fly to left, 1 down. Cubs 2/3 of the way there. Here's Pete Fox back at the top of the order, 0 for 4. Yep, 9 Hall of Famers between these 2 teams. This is a big clue. Warnicki fires it into Pete Fox. Payoff pitch. Oh, this one just off the plate. Ball 4. Warnicki coming in. A few words for the umpire. Hartnett rushing out, trying to calm him down. You don't want to get ejected here. You're on the verge of a possible World Series victory. Warnicki seems calmed down, picks up the rosin bag, kind of glares in one more time at the home plate umpire. Now Goose Goslin, 1 away. The infield is playing deep to guard against the extra base hit, or the outfield playing deep to guard against the extra base hit. Infield is guarding the lines. Warnicki now works 2. Goose Goslin, the 1-2. Goslin swings, and this one base hit into left. So this one just over the head of Stan Hack. And here comes Charlie Gehringer. This is somebody that the Cubs do not want to see, nor do they want to see the guy waiting on deck, Hank Greenberg. Warnicki looking for the double play for the Cubs to win it all. Gehringer looking for the big hit to try to force a Game 6 in this replay of the 1935 World Series between the Detroit Tigers and the Chicago Cubs. We will go to a pitch-by-pitch mode in this situation with these 2 dangerous hitters up. Warnicki has the sign from Gabby Hartnett. And here's the pitch. That one in there. Ball 1. Warnicki rubbing up the ball. The 1-0 count now coming to Charlie Gehringer. This one outside. Changeup missing. No, it just catches the corner. Very, very close call. 1-1 now on Gehringer. Gehringer calls time, steps out of the box. Hartnett taking advantage of this, running out quickly to Warnicki. Going over the signs with Fox at second, now back behind the dish. Pete Fox at second, Goslin at first. Umpire signals to resume play. Here is the 1-1 delivery to Charlie Gehringer. And this one just away, 2-1. So fastball missing. Just a bit outside. 2-1 the count. Gehringer in the box, flexing his muscles. Warnicki comes home with it now. This one fouled back. 2-2 now on Charlie Gehringer. Warnicki into his motion, the 2-2. Gehringer swings, routine or ground ball. This could be a double play, and this World Series is over. The Chicago Cubs win it all. The Chicago Cubs winning their first World Series since 1908. Forget about the GOAT. Forget about everything. The Cubs win. The Cubs win. The Cubs win. All right. With a 5-4 win over the 1935 Tigers today at Wrigley Field, Chicago Cubs wrapped up their first title since 1908. Chicago left little doubt who was a better club. And then a lot of fluff. But anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this. So let's look at our recap. And the Cubs win 5-4 over the Tigers. Of course, we know in real life the Tigers won this World Series, but this was fun to do this one. So Schoolboy Rowe went 8 innings, tagged with the loss. He lost 2 in this series replay. He went 8 innings, 12 hits, 5 runs, all earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, gave up a home run. Lon Warnicki had won both of his appearances in this game. 9 innings, 13 hits, 4 runs all earned, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, 2 home runs. So 2 home runs given up in this game. And Chicago pulling it out. Player of the game is Gabby Hartnett. And let's see who is named MVP. Do we have an MVP? We do not have an MVP named in this game. So that's it. We're going to leave it, and that ends game 1 of our celebration of the national pastime. We will finish today, and that's it. It goes gray to let you know it's done. Chicago Cubs win the series 4-1. Aaron Reed says 1935 was when the curse of the Billy Goat started. Well, in our alternate universe, it was a very short-lived curse, my friend. Todd B says, call incoming from President Roosevelt. Nice touch, Todd B. Bang, bang, and the Tigers' rally is dead. All right. Guys, this was cool. Fun. Okay. So Big Clue saying it was 1945. All right, so I'm going to jump on. We're going to get Aaron Reed on here for probably about 15-20 minutes. We'll just talk some baseball with you guys, and then we will get to game 2. And if we have time, then we'll have some more baseball talk. Unfortunately, much to Robbie Wertberg's chagrin, this is not going to be an all-night stream, but we'll see if we can make it for a couple more hours at least and have some fun and just talk some ball, man. All right, Aaron, I'm going to get you on to the Discord here in a second. Let me just return to the Out of the Park main screen so that I don't accidentally press any buttons that I shouldn't. All right, guys, it's going to be time for the Aaron Reed Show. As soon as we find Aaron Reed, there he is, and see he's playing RetroArch right now. So let's give him a call. Let's see what he's up to. Aaron Reed. Yep. And where are we going here? La da 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 da. Ba 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 ba. All right, we're calling Aaron. Aaron Reed. Aaron Reed. There you go. All right, everybody, make sure to say hi to Aaron. Aaron is here.
Greetings, primitives.
All right. So, Aaron, what'd you think of that game? The Cubs doing it 4-1.
The curse of the Billy Goat doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It, I think what was it? I think it was Big Clue said it was actually 45 when that whole thing started.
Hmm. So,
Stellantis' goat got kicked out of Wrigley Field or something like that.
yeah, had I known the Cubs were going to do this, Robbie Wartburg coming in with a nice suggestion. He said it would have been nice to have Harry, although Harry Carey wasn't there, but it would have been fun to have Harry Carey
I think
do that
Harry
last
Carey was
call.
calling
So
any
why don't you give us
baseball.
that Cubs wins the World Series, because poor Harry never got to say it. So go for it.
There's a ground ball. It could be a double play. Out in second. Cubs are the champions. Cubs are the champions. Holy cow!
All right, so Todd B says he's getting no sound, and that's bizarre.
No sound
No sound. Let me
from
see.
me or from him.
Now, well, we're both making. Go ahead, talk again. Da 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 da. Say something.
Baba booey, baba
Yeah,
booey,
man.
baba booey.
Anybody else not here? There. Okay. So Todd B says they're better. So guess what? You have to do an encore performance. All right.
Okay,
Here we
let's
go.
see.
Go for it, man.
Here's the pitch. There's a ground ball. Could be a double play. He's out at second. The throw to first. Cubs are the champions. Cubs are the champions. Cubs are the champions. Holy cow!
And
A
there we
double
go.
play to win it all.
Harry Carey calls it. Harry Carey calls it. All right.
So I
Superb.
think Harry was just a young kid back then, or he was kind of a teenage crooner or something like that, because he he didn't join the Cardinals until like the 40s or 50s, I think.
Right. And that's
Uh,
kind of fun that he goes then to later to the Cardinals' arch rivals. How about it?
yeah, he did the White Sox. He tried the A's, and that didn't work. He did the White Sox for a while, and that didn't last too long. Then he went to he went to, was it No Shy or whatever? Where was it? No, uh, Wrigley is North Chicago, right?
Hmm. Well, that's where the Cubs play.
Yeah,
So
he
that's why
went
I
to
kept
No
saying
Shy.
right.
He went from So Shy to No Shy, and
Hmm.
the rest, as they say, is history.
Is history.
I
All
mean, from
right.
1980, I believe, till 1997, he called Cubs games till he died,
Yes, he did.
and that's a shame. That's a shame.
Big Clue saying one of his favorite things when visiting Chicago was stopping by the Billy Goat Tavern. Cool little hole in the wall place, no longer its original location, sadly. A lot of that happening. The Ned McGreevy recreation of the third base saloon in Boston by Dropkick Murphys. Ken Casey, founder of that excellent band from Boston, recreated the third base saloon during COVID. It was shut down, or closed for COVID, and now it's gone. Ken Casey talked
On.
about and they actually worked from pictures, and except of course for ADA compliance and modern amenities. But you would look at it, and they actually Ken Casey talked about this. They went all over the place and were looking for the pictures that would match up. You can look online and see pictures of the original Ned McGreevy League or the Ned McGreevy third base saloon, and it was all there. And
Enough said.
unfortunately it is gone. He said that he and a friend, though, so there was a sign that said 1,600 steps to Fenway, and they actually pasted out. He said they lost count like 4 times or something, but they pasted out to Fenway Park. But so the third base saloon is gone. So yeah, these great little places. Todd B says I would pay to see Harry Carey and W.C. Fields drink together. How about that? So
Now I would
Aaron,
listen to that. Yes.
so are you more Braves or more of a Reds fan?
Oh, that's a good question, because the Braves are more successful when I was growing up. They won all those divisions, and we got them on TBS
Uh huh.
a lot.
So I guess
So,
what are your predictions for both those teams, for the Reds and Braves this year?
well, let's see. They're saying the Reds are still trying to rebuild. They just got some kid from Cleveland, I think it was, in the draft,
Hmm.
whatever it was, that he destroyed during the. He got a couple of shots with the Guardians last year, but the Cincinnati picked him up. But everybody's talking about Atlanta possibly going back to the postseason after getting shellacked and knocked out by the Phillies, whom no one gave them a chance.
Hmm.
No one gave the Phillies a chance. I did, like, I didn't think they'd make it past the wild card wild card series,
Right.
but they won the National League pennant. And sadly, they came up short against the Astros. But I mean, what can you do? I mean, the of course, I only wish that like because I remember when I was in school as a kid at night, I had one of the little radios, like not a transistor radio, but like an actual like Walkman, like a little. It was like a little mouse pad kind of a deal,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a radio, and uh, it had like you could like it had AM FM on it. That's all it was, and I could listen to AM radio and pick up like the let's see, Harry Kalas of the Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the pitch, and Utley swings, long drive, and that one is out of here. A home run for Chase Utley, and the Phillies take a 2-0 lead. Oh my!
You
Then of
know,
course I could. Yes,
I wish you could do Bob Prince, man.
I can't do Bob Prince.
Now, Bob
Let's
Prince,
see.
you need a super gravelly, like kind
Though
of.
I actually used to pick it. I could pick up the Pirates as well. But I never understood the guy that did it. The guy that did it in the early 2000s. I could also pick up the St. Louis Cardinals and
Oh,
listening to Mike
Jack.
Shannon,
Oh, Mike Shannon, right? Yeah, because I used to listen to him.
Jack
KMOX
Buck.
late at night. Jack Buck, absolutely. Don't know why
Well,
Joe didn't learn anything from his dad, but there you go.
when Jack died, they got the guy from I think his name is Dwayne Hagen. They got him from the Rockies. I want to say because I think he started with the Rockies in '93 when they were an expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know the name of Dwayne Hagen. I think it's Dwayne. It's Dwayne or Wayne. It's one of the two. Hagen because he eulogized Lon Simmons when he died after he died.
Uh huh.
Um, but and I could pick up the Cleveland Indians and Tom Hamilton were underway at the corner of Carnegie and Ontario. Oh,
So Robbie Wartburg saying that you should seriously audition for America's Got Talent. What do you think there, Aaron?
you know, I would do that, but honestly, I don't think I'd get very far because that show, like like that show is kind of well, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist here, but I think that show's kind of fixed somewhat.
Hmm.
Like they say they're relying on audience votes. I don't believe that completely. You're watching the Atlanta Braves on TBS. I'm Skip Carey
Oh,
alongside me,
oh,
Joe Simpson and Pete Van Waren.
I couldn't stand him. Oh my God, I couldn't
Oh,
stand. And that
could,
was
you
I just
couldn't.
could. Oh,
Oh
I hated his voice. Ugh.
God, my brother used to always imitate him, going Braves in Espanol. That means Braves in Spanish. And of course, you got the nasally voice. I can't do him perfectly. You got the nasally voice of Pete Van Waren. God, you want to grab his nose and squeeze it, you know?
You know that's who Appa wanted to get to pick
I
up
read
where
about that.
Ernie had left off. It was going to be Pete Van Wieren, and he was going to do, I guess, from 1998 on, because Ernie does from 1871 to 1997, and they were going to have
Yeah,
Van Wieren come in and kind of pick up. And they decided rather to quote unquote update the game.
right.
So I'm kind of glad that didn't work because, yeah,
God, I mean, like, heck, I could have done it. I
yeah,
mean,
you could have done it. Uh, Too bad they don't know about Christopher Slovic, but not that Apple
oh,
would pay him
oh,
anything,
oh,
but
oh, oh. He's got the voice for it.
yes, he does.
Just like Chris Levick has a voice for baseball.
Yes.
What's his name? Al Resnick has a voice for boxing.
Hmm.
And I'm sure that there's somebody out there who has a voice for commentating wrestling matches.
Um, let,
Um,
let me. Big Clue says hashtag breaking news. The wrestling fan thinks reality TV is fixed. Laugh out loud, he says. He's taking the mick on you, taking the mick, bud. It's all good.
yeah. I'm let's see.
He
I
could be
hold it in
getting
my hand.
Randy Savage after him, right?
I'm snipping into a Slim Jim. Yeah. I got one of them little spicy Slim Jims from the grocery store.
Nice,
um,
nice, nice.
but I play all these games all these days, and
Mhm.
like um, listening to whether it be a PlayStation 4 Boot Zombie and Chris Singleton, or going back even further than that to to Vin Scully of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Scully
And
was one of a kind, man.
Vin Scully's a god. I mean, like, and it's kind of it's 95 years old. The guy, like, he did it until he just couldn't do it anymore. He decided to hang him up, which, of course, that's understandable. I mean, you can only do it for so long before your memory goes taut.
Mm.
But
Yeah, I wish the Rolling Stones would get the clue, but that's a whole nother subject. Anyhow, well, now Charlie Watts. No, actually, they did a gig without him. The Beatles went out
but
with 4 number 1 hits, and the Stones have been hanging on forever. But anyhow, yeah, Vince
but
Scully did it with class. He said it was
yeah,
time, you know.
I play like the original MLB series on the PS1. It's Vin Scully and Dave Campbell,
Oh,
whom
nice,
I
nice.
don't know what he's doing nowadays, but I know he used to work with the Padres and that Jerry Coleman.
Jerry
Here's Linares and Tony Gwynn on deck in right field today. Um, he was the one that did World Series baseball on the Sega, even though it doesn't sound like him.
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned to me, what was it? The Tony La Russa baseball games.
96. Yeah, Totally
Yeah,
Russo
one of them
96.
uses one of them uses Ron Barr, who's
Mm.
a EA Sport. I guess he's a EA Sports guy
Mm-hmm.
because I've only seen him in like interview like BS things on like he did NHL '94. He had his own radio show for a while, but
Mm.
he did one of the La Russa games.
Okay.
I don't know which one, but he did one of the Russo ones.
Right.
And as you said to me, he did, or Hank Greenwald, Mel Allen, and Lon Simmons did the La Russa 396 version, which I believe I have.
Right. And you
Now
can't
that you,
forget Mel Allen with old time baseball.
oh,
And Kurt
Mel,
or Mel Allen and Kurt Gowdy,
Gowdy,
old time baseball. Yeah.
oh man, like the fact you could do all of these games from like it's like a what would happen if situation, like if the Big Red Machine played against Murderers Row,
Mm-hmm.
that would be something to watch. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, or the 79, or the last time the Pirates won a World Series against,
1979.
say, yeah, 79 Pirates against, say, maybe the 34 Tigers. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I mean, and you get, and they, and it amazes me how much technology's gotten so these days because Al Michaels does hardball, of course.
Right.
He did it from three all the way up, and then when 99 hardball 99 came out, they used a guy named Greg Papa.
Mm-hmm.
He worked with the Oakland A's. I think he was with the F ball team as well,
Mm-hmm.
but he worked with the Oakland A's for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But they used him, and then they just stopped making them after a while. But Al, I always every time I play like Hardball 5 on my PlayStation, for example, it's like Al used to do. Al did baseball for years on the. Remember when they tried the baseball network
Yes.
back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
They're in between, been not from '94 up to maybe '95.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't last long
Mm-mm.
because they had the strike, and they had like they still had to honor the contract, so they did like one season of it. And no one cared. It was like you were watching like like you, for example, the '95 playoffs. I mean, everybody was trying to cover it. I mean, you had what was it? I remember. I think it was one of the games in the Reds Dodgers NLDS. It was one of them was Greg Gumbel and Joe Morgan. The other one was Al Michaels, Tim McCarver, and Jim Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
Whom is he still around?
Jim Palmer?
Tim Palmer, yeah,
Last I heard.
yeah. Then, as I mentioned earlier, as I said earlier, I was telling Earl Weaver, who is a legend.
Yes.
God rest his soul.
Mm.
Um, you know that guy knew how to manage. I mean, yes, he
He
got
knew
his
how to get
got a
ejected, that's for sure.
that's what I say. He had a short fuse and a short temper, but you let him do his thing as far as managing is concerned, and like eventually, yes, they won a World Series. I mean, but playing like I actually got a demo in Earl Weaver baseball to play the other day, and listening to that automated the synthesized voice,
Right.
it's a little annoying,
Hmm.
but it's what they had
Oh, sure.
back then because and when I show it to you when we do get a chance,
Hmm.
you're gonna get to hear the grinding of an Amiga.
Oh, I used to have an Amiga. So I actually had one, and I have the game on an Amiga emulator. So yeah, I love
I do
it.
too. I'm using the Commodore Amiga TUI core,
Hmm.
though I'm trying to figure it all out. Maybe you could probably help me with that
Yeah,
if you whenever you want to,
that was a
because
that was a very very advanced computer actually. So a lot of the special effects that you see on television, like like even the television stations, those were all done on Amiga and using a thing called Video Toaster. And in fact, a little story very quickly. So those brilliant effects that you see in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan were originally going to be
I
done
love that movie.
with the help of an Amiga. They used a Burroughs graphic workstation, but then Amiga dropped the ball. In Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, Paramount wanted to work with because they knew it was like true hardware multitasking. Now we have multi-threading cores, but back then it had a dedicated sound chip,
Dude.
dedicated graphics, the whole thing, right? So they were
Yeah.
and Commodore dropped the ball, and they ended up using Macintoshes
Oh man, the
in Star
Macintosh
Trek 4.
voice.
Well, they used Macintosh computers instead
Oh, the
of
period.
Commodore
Yeah.
Amigas. But back to that Amiga game, the fun thing is when you were creating your own players, which you can in that game, you have to use a kind of phonetic notation. You can't. So if you just spell out the name, I remember trying to do, I forget who it was. It was a Hispanic player, and it just mangled it. And I'm going all over the place looking at documentation. How do I do this? And it's a mixture of numbers and letters to create a phonetic pronunciation. But you know what? It's a great game. You can build your own ballparks. I mean, it was a lot of fun, and just
I just
played the
want to get a
living hell out
game
of it.
going. Is what I'm trying to do. I mean,
Hmm.
like, and it says according to it said 61 through 75. I wonder if I have to download a.
You don't have to download anything. All those
Oh,
teams are there.
really?
Those are the best players from 1961 to 1975. I believe
I'm
it has
seeing guys
1900 to
make.
1930. Blah blah blah. Anyhow, go ahead, please.
I'm seeing guys do things with, for example, I don't know who this fellow was or is, I should say, but he did an earlier baseball game. It was the 82 Brewers against the 92 Blue Jays.
Hmm.
So I'm wondering if you could like change the duration of because it's like obviously it's 15, it's like 16, 14, 15, 16 years.
Hmm.
But we could figure that out when
You can create
because
anything you want in a waiver baseball if you're willing to put in the time. So
because
it doesn't. Go
I'm
ahead.
willing to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the game.
Hmm.
I got it to work.
Hmm.
The only thing I need to know how to do now, how to do now, and I don't know if you can help me with this, is how to work it on the my Amiga core that I'm using
Yeah.
because
I will do my best. I can't offer any promises, but I will certainly
because
try.
I don't I have a I'm not really sure how it would work with because I use I'm debating on whether to use the joystick or if you have to use a keyboard
Well,
because I think there is a way to do it.
it's a man. It's you can play it, but it works best as a managing game. And
Right.
the way I played is with mouse. So
Mouse. I
yeah,
can do that too because you can set the buttons to the mouse, left mouse click, center mouse click. But no, like listening to the automated.
you only ever use the left and right mouse buttons in a Weaver baseball. In
But
fact,
listening to that,
Amigas only had those the two buttons. The scroll wheel just scrolled. So it's simple, but
cool.
we'll get into that. We will work on that this week, a little bit at a time.
And get
Hopefully,
old time baseball installed too. I do want to
right.
give that a
Tell
shot
you what, I'm going to let
because
you monitor chat for a few minutes. Talk to these guys. I need to take a phone call. I'll be back, guys. Aaron will be with you.
all right, I'm sitting here in the great state of the bluegrass state of Kentucky. It's a quiet Sunday night in the middle of February, and let's see what we got in the chat. Uh, righty, let's see here. No, Big Clue says nobody listens to Palmer these days. That's because Baltimore fans only know how to steal car radios, not listen to him. I can understand that. Then World's Worst Gamer says, "Hello, I'm doing well, World's Worst Gamer. How are you?" Let's see what else we got in here. Big Clue said Scully retired so he could spend time with his great grandchildren. That's quite the that's cool. I mean, he did that until till he passed away sadly, which I think was just last year when he died. 95 years old. Bonjour. He said no to the Pooper Bowl. I said no to it as well. My TV right now is currently on the AV channel and it's blank. I had the PS3 on watching a DVD earlier this evening while eating a sub sandwich. So meatball sub with pepper jack cheese and chipotle sauce. Mm-mm. Robbie says, "Well, I think. Oh, you think I'd do well on AGT, huh?" Ken sends a link to Flickr. Faced with rolling eyes, Todd B got the breaking news. Yes, oh yeah, wrestling. We already went over that one. That's good, World Gamer. Glad to hear you're doing all right. Um, I'm not the world's best gamer either. I'm an okay gamer. One of the many okay gamers in the world. I don't play for the achievements. I don't play for the money. I don't play for anything like that. That's why I just want to play the game. That's like when you go because I'm going to pre-order the new MLB The Show. The one thing that annoys me about that is you can't just pick up and play anymore. You have to set your difficulty level and set how you want the game to play or set how you want to, whereas, for example, with, let's say, MLB 99 or 2000, you can just get a game going in at least 1 to 2 minutes. I mean, it's a lost art these days. Just pick up and play is a lost art these days. Of course, now there are places still that you could go to a store and sell one-up machines for, go buy one-up machines for like $100 or $200 and put them up in your home and just go insane. I mean, no quarters. Hey, let's see. Let's see. Big Clue says if Pat Mahomes shows F over baseball, then this baseball fan isn't going to watch him play. Oh, well, a lot of people wish Tim Tebow would play baseball, but he tried that and yeah, he couldn't play with a minor league club. That's that kind of reminds me of let's see. When I was growing up, you had only multi-sport stars you had were Brian Jordan, Bo Jackson, and Deion Sanders. Then you got Drew Henson, but you know, no, most people say I probably have a fetish for Deion Sanders because he has a nice name. No, he was a good player in his day, whether he played f ball or baseball, and he's a good coach as well. He coaches college f ball right now. I think he's going to be in the University of Colorado this year or next season. But um, it seems like nowadays the guys that manage the baseball clubs played when I was growing up. I mean, I don't even like. I was just looking the other day to see who manages what, and David Bell was playing when I was growing up. The Red skipper. He's been there for several years ever since they fired Brian Price. Um, but Ryan Snitker, he's been in the Braves organization for years before he finally got to manage the club. But I just wish Tebow would go away quietly like everyone else who couldn't hack it in the NFL. I could understand that. I mean, it's like why would you send him out there every night if he's just going to get hurt? You know, but like I don't like that's it. Like when if you want to be a multi-sport star, you have to obviously be in shape. I mean, it's like I like to, switching, just bouncing around from subject to subject. I play a lot of these old video games from when I was growing up, and it's like MLB Pennant Race was the original MLB The Show back in '96 with Jerry Coleman. It was after the '95 season, in the midst of the '96 season. I did a Reds game. Well, the first game I did was a Reds game, and I heard Kevin Mitchell, Brett Boone, Barry Larkin, Reggie Sanders, Hal Morris, Chris Sabo, Eric Davis was on that roster. Joe Oliver was there. I'm thinking that's like five. That's like 3 out of 5 guys, or 4 out of the 5 guys were on that 1990 squad. And but no, like when I was a kid growing up, and most I'm sure you all had your favorite teams. We picked up the Atlanta Braves on TBS, and we weren't watching wrestling. We were watching the Atlanta Braves. It's like sometimes skip the Braves broadcasters would say, coming up at 6:05, it's Saturday Night Wrestling. See the stars of WCW, the Sting, like Sting versus somebody, or what you call it. I mean, let's see what else we got in the chat here. Nothing. Y'all are just kind of listening in, but and then when they stopped, I got mad when they stopped doing because TBS does the what was it, the Sunday afternoon game of the week, if I ain't mistaken. Uh, but they use what's his name? They have Ernie Johnson's son doing it now, I believe. I think he works for Turner and has for a while now. When they do, if you played NBA, the recent NBA 2K games, I don't know if there's a swear word here for that, but they use, if it ain't Harlan and somebody, they use Brian Anderson and someone else because Brian works for Turner. Um, Big Clue says, I was at those 95 NLCS games at Riverfront. Screw the Braves. Ooh, I know. I read about it so many years later because I wasn't fully watching baseball till like 2001. Honestly, I'd watch it part time throughout the '90s, but I didn't realize the Reds were in the playoffs in '95. It's like, wait a minute, they won the division. The Wikipedia said yes, they did. I was like, holy, you know. Then, oh, I got mad. I was disappointed. I was like, they haven't won a World Series in over. Let's see, 1990. So 2000, 2010, 20, 40. It's been over 40 years since they last won a World's. No, not 40 years. It's been over 30 years since they last won a World Series. So, last time they made the playoffs was in 20, I believe 13. They were a wild card team, and they lost to the Pirates. Got slaughtered by the Pirates. More like it. I watched that getting madder and madder and madder as the innings went on. It was like, oh, come on, But no, like playing the like. I was gonna say, let's see what else we got in the chat here. Big Clue says, and I stood in the rain all night to get tickets to game 163 and 99. To hell with the Mets while we're at it. Oh, man. They had a good year in 99. It's a shame they couldn't derail the Mets in their push, even though the Bravos took care of that in the NLCS that year. Uh, but let's see what else we got. World's Worst Gamers says, Braves baseball, hey, it was NL ball, so I didn't care as much. Also wanted to watch them less and less because they choked all the time in the playoffs. That's true, actually. I mean, Twins, the Blue Jays twice, the Yankees twice, and in the World Series. Then you had the Phillies knock them out in '93. Then you had, what was it, the Marlins knocked them out in '97. The Padres knocked them out in '98. I mean, and in the years after that, they didn't even get past the NLDS. I mean, it's like it got to the point where winning a division was like, oh my God, let's just drink beer all night long or whatever they did in Atlanta. I mean, let's see what else we got. Steve Tate says, I will check in a bit after spending some family time. All right, Steve, I sent you a new. I think Beatles sent me a Negro League file by email. That's for Beatles. So, all right, Steve, we'll have fun with your family. Uh, we'll see you soon. Um, but like I used to watch a lot of that Fox Saturday baseball and stuff. Beatles is on the phone, I believe. By the way, that's why. Um.
He's back. So
Oh,
quickly,
there
just
he
going to butt in
is.
Steve Tate saying he'll check in a bit after spending some family time. He sent me a new Negro League file. Nice. Thank you, Steve. So hopefully we should still be here for a little while yet. Again, not going to go. This is not going to be a 7-hour stream or anything like that. So, but yeah.
Well,
So
you
go on,
already did
Aaron.
some
Finish up
earlier
your story,
today.
buddy. What's that?
You already did some earlier today. So,
Yeah, I did
and
two
this
two
was,
two games earlier today.
but yeah, like what I was saying was,
Hmm.
I used to watch a lot of that Fox Saturday baseball, and I say my favorite World Series had to be the one in '02 with the Giants and the Angels. I mean, it seemed like whoever punched harder, or whoever was like whoever punched, the other team would punch harder, and then they kept on coming back at each other. It was so good. I
Hmm.
mean, but no, Beatles is back, folks. I watched the chat. I took care. I looked after everything and stuff. But
And you were awesome.
oh, I it's like my mind gets so after a while I run out of things to say. It's like, oh, let's look at the chat
Just do what
and
I do and babble. That's all you have to do, man.
babble. I got nothing wrong with babbling. I'm a professional babbler, I guess you could say.
There you go. There you go.
But
I see World's Worst
no,
Gamer
like
joined us, so welcome in.
he's there.
Yeah,
Uh,
he says bonjour. He said no
Bonjour.
to the Pooper Bowl as well. Haven't watched a second. Good on you, mates.
the
Yeah,
the WDC Bowl, the We Don't Care Bowl.
yeah. Just because
Let
of,
them
go ahead, go
go
ahead,
ahead.
please. No, no, you.
Let them play. Let them figure it out.
Right.
Go ahead.
So, of course, if you guys are interested, there is what streamed 29 minutes ago. Somebody is doing that did a that other game halftime show. So, there's that. Yeah, I'm just being nice, even for channels that don't reciprocate. That's fine. But just letting folks know. I think that's the only sports gaming content creator that I subscribe to that's doing anything. We've got to get Perry Rubino in here again sometime. He had a live broadcast today, but he didn't have the chat enabled. And it's like, dude, couldn't let you know I was here, and you can't leave comments during it. So hopefully he'll come back. But I
That's
think
kind of meh.
I think what we'll do now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into our nightcap. You can hang out if you want on here,
Sure.
and we're going to call this game. I'm just going to call this game out. And this is Game 5 now, the 1929 World Series. And once again, we see the Chicago Cubs. However, this time they are down 3 games to 1 to this juggernaut Philadelphia Athletics team. So in Game 1, the Athletics defeat the Cubs 6-1. Tonight we'll see a rematch of Lefty Grove, by the way, and Pat Malone. They were the Game 1 starters. Game 2, the Cubs come back and they defeat the Athletics 4-3. And then Philadelphia wins games 3 and 4, 4-3 and 6-3, respectively. As far as the home runs thus far, Mickey Cochrane with 1 in the World Series for Philadelphia, and for Chicago, won by Kai Kai Kyler. So,
Kai Kyler.
yep, Kai Kai Kyler, which a lot of people say it's Kiki, but it's actually Kyler.
It's Kai Kai.
It's Kai Kai, yep. So this should be a fun game. We are on our way once again to Chicago, but this time, instead of Chicago on the cusp of winning the World Series, now finds themselves trying to force a Game 6.
Hang on, Cubbies.
So here we go. Let's get out to
Is this the
radio.
Connie Mack Athletics?
Pardon me? Yes.
Is this the
Yeah.
Connie Mack?
Yeah, so from virtually all of the Philadelphia Athletics, they were the Connie Mack Athletics. He managed them for, I think, like 50 years or something. And was
That is a long time to be managing club.
long, long time. Well, he was also part owner of the Athletics. Not always, but yeah, but he was, and never wore, so unlike other managers, he wore a baseball uniform. He wore very nattily dressed in a regular everyday suit. But one of his other claims to fame, besides being a great, great manager and a great, which he was as a catcher. Apparently, his real name is Cornelius McGillicuddy, and McGillicuddy, you can't get much more Irish than that. But he could, by snapping his fingers, he could make it so that it sounded like a ball was foul tipped into his mitt, and used
He
that
was
a
that
lot
good.
of times to advantage, for his team. All right, let's do the visiting lineups for the 1929 Philadelphia Athletics. This is the team that the Ned McGreevy All-Stars will be facing in the All-Star game as voted on by the channel. So leading off in right field, Bing Miller. Batting second at shortstop, a player who is largely unheralded, which I think unfairly. Not saying he should be Hall of Fame, but definitely an excellent player, Jimmy Dykes. Batting third, Hall of Famer, Bucketfoot Al Simmons, Aloysius Szymanski. In the cleanup spot, the Beast, Jimmy Fox. Batting fifth in center field, Mule Haas. Catching and batting sixth, Mickey Cochrane, which we just saw him in our 1935 with the Tigers. Sammy Hale at the hot corner, batting seventh. Max Bishop, another excellent player, second baseman, batting eighth. And Lefty Grove will pitch and bat ninth. Grove in 1929, 20 wins, 6 losses, a 2.81 earned run average. Struck out 5.6 per game and walked 2.0. And what's interesting about Lefty Grove, such a dominant pitcher, and Steve and I were talking about this, when you look at Grove's numbers in the 1930s, it was a hitter's decade. You look what he did in 1930. Grove's putting up earned run averages under 3 in a hitter's era. Grove was just an absolutely amazing, amazing pitcher. Now, for the hometown Chicago Cubs, Hall of Famer, right fielder Kai Kai Kyler leading it off in right field. Batting second at shortstop, Woody English. Batting third, and we have 2 of the elite here tonight. So actually 3, Simmons and Fox for the Athletics, but then the Rogers Hornsby, batting third at second base. Batting cleanup, Hall of Fame center fielder Hagga Wilson. Batting fifth, a great Cubs favorite in left field, Riggs Stevenson. Batting 6th at first base, Charlie Grimm. Batting 7th at third base, Norm McMillan. Batting 8th and catching, Zach Taylor. And taking them out and batting 9th, Pat Malone, who in 1929 posted a 22-10 record, a 3.57 earned run average, and he struck out also 5.6 batters per 9 innings and walked 3.4. So he walked a little more and a bit of a higher earned run average. But these Philadelphia Athletics in 1929, 30 and 31 stopped the juggernaut Yankees, and in fact in 1921 seriously stopped them. They won the World Series in 1929 and 1930, lost to the Cardinals in 1931. So in 29 they did beat these Cubbies. Of course, any World Series prior to 2016, between 1908 and 1916, if the Cubs were in it, we knew they lost it, except for tonight. 1935 Cubs won the World Series, and let's get to the ballpark one more time. Once more unto the breach, dear friends. All right, here we go. So let's look at the numbers for some of these players. So Pat Malone's line in this World Series, he is no wins, 2 losses, 8 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, a 3.38 earned run average in the World Series. Leading it off now for the MacMen is Big Miller. Big Miller hitting 250 with a run batted in. And let us check our weather at game time. 48 degrees, so a chilly day in Chicago. The wind going out to right at 11 miles per hour. And we're ready to get underway. We'll let the game do its festivities. And we're ready to go. Game 5.
All right.
1929 World Series. And here is the pitch. And this one inside, and we have to switch back to pitch by pitch mode. So Big Miller with a 1-0 count. Malone deals full count now.
Strike 3.
And big swing and a miss. So Pat Malone picking up the strikeout as Big Miller kind of makes a half-hearted attempt at it. And here is Jimmy Dykes now. Dykes hitting 333, 5 for 15. Jimmy Dykes, shortstop for this one of the great teams in baseball, one of the greatest squads ever put together, these Philadelphia Athletics. Pat Malone fires it in. Count even on Jimmy Dykes. 13 home runs and 79 runs batted in the regular season. And Dykes, a swing and a miss. So Pat Malone faces 2 and fans 2, and that brings out Bucketfoot Al Simmons. A lot of people, when talking about these athletics teams, will talk about Lefty Grove and Jimmy Fox, but Al Simmons, a fearsome power hitter. And in fact, in 1929, hit 36 home runs, 157 runs batted in. Malone has the sign from catcher Zach Taylor. Here is the wind in the 0-1 to Simmons. Simmons swings, laces this into a right. This is going to get down for a base hit, and Simmons is aboard for the first base hit of the game.
He was doing so good up to that point. 2 up, 2 down, 2 consecutive strikeouts, and now he gives up a single.
Big Clue says, by the way, Beatles Eternally, this year's Sabre Convention is in Chicago. Good luck on those hotel fees. Tell me about it, about hotel fees. Oh my God. So they're getting expensive. So my girlfriend and I stayed at La Quinta last night, which it was nice, but still $100 for a La Quinta. It's just insane. I can't even imagine. My ex-wife and I used to go to Chicago a lot. And that was, God, when was I married to her? I'm trying to remember. 2009, whatever it was. And back then, you know, it was, you could still like afford, but now I still want to go. There's also the International Brotherhood of Magicians Convention. There's the thing going on in Cooperstown. There's an APA thing going on in Lancaster. Hope to do a lot of traveling. So, but yeah, oh my God, Chicago hotel fees, ooh, brutal. And here he is, Double X Jimmy Fox, who Yankees pitcher Lefty Gomez bemoaned. He was so muscular that even Fox's hair had muscles. So before Ted Kluszewski, even Jimmy Fox used to trim his like the sleeves on his jersey This guy had, I mean, seriously big dude. Ted Williams said you could blindfold him. He could tell you when Jimmy Fox hit a ball. It had a certain type of sound, he said, that no other hitter had. Big praise coming from Ted Williams. Fox, one of the great hitters in baseball. Fearsome power from Double X. Simmons aboard. Malone deals. And Jimmy swinging at the first pitch. High fly ball center field. Wrigley will hold this one quite handily, however, as Hack Wilson comes in, calling off Kai Kyler to make the catch. So the Athletics manage a hit. They strand one. We go to the bottom of the first, and it's the Philadelphia Athletics nothing. The Chicago Cubs coming to bat. Kai Kyler to lead it off here. Woody English waiting on deck, and then the Rogers Hornsby. So Robbie Wartburg, we're just going to let you really research that one on your own. Robbie Wartburg asking, what is a cornholio? We will just let Robbie look that one up.
We'll let you figure that one out on your own.
Exactly. All right, Kyler in the series hitting .222, Aaron, with 3 runs batted in, a home run. Lefty Grove is 1-0, 9 innings pitched, 5 hits, only 1 earned run. He's walked 1, struck out 9. So excellent movement, pitches to contact. Grove's going to come after you. The lefty ready to deal with a Kyler. Here is the 1-1 delivery from Grove to Kyler. Here's the pitch. Kyler swings, and this one just over the head of the first baseman. Kyler aboard. Base hit. So Grove coming with the fastball, and Kyler just getting a piece of it. And here's Woody English. English hitting .231. He is 3 for 13 in the series. Kyler has serious speed at first. Cochran and Grove are going to try to keep him honest. Grove now the lefty into his motion in the 1-2 delivery. Swung on, high fly ball to center field. And coming over and down into the glove.
Ooh.
And nice catch by Mule Haas. Kai Kyler gets back to first. And here is Rogers Hornsby. Hornsby hitting .250 with 2 runs batted in. So excellent contact hitter, superb power hitter. Kyler with speed on first. See what they do against lefty Grove. So we have right now a Hall of Fame pitcher, catcher, hitter, and runner at first, and a Hall of Fame first baseman. So we've got it going on all over the place as Grove winds and fires. The runner goes, the throw downs, and Simmons has, or Kyler has himself a stolen base. So Kai Kyler in scoring position for the Cubs, 1 down. Hornsby back in the box. Grove winds and fires to the Raja. Hornsby swings, hard ground ball to second. Up and over with it is Max Bishop to retire Hornsby. Kyler would advance to third on the play, 2 down for Hack Wilson. Hack Wilson 2 runs batted in, .222. Grove working from the stretch and the delivery to Hack Wilson. Wilson swings, fly ball, but this one will easily stay in the park and into the glove of Mule Haas. Inning over. Cubs get nothing on 1 hit. They strand 1. We go to the top of the second. And it is scoreless here at Wrigley. Philadelphia looking to win it all. Go ahead, Aaron.
Zip, no score.
Zip, no score. All right, lots going on in the chat. Good to see it. And Mule Haas will lead it off here for the Athletics. Then Mickey Cochran, Sammy Hale. Center fielder Mule Haas hitting .312 with 2 runs batted in. Bats from the left. Pat Malone with 2 strikeouts through an inning. Malone striking out the first 2 batters. Mule Haas hit .313 in the regular season, and liner to center and having to play it on the bounce is Hack Wilson. So Haas aboard for Mickey Cochran. We saw Mickey Cochran in our first game. Black Mike hitting a superb .429, 3 runs batted in, including a home run. Hit .331 during the regular season. Haas 3 steps off first. Malone with a check of the runner. Nobody down, a runner on, no score. Cochran swings, and this one lined into right field. And Cochran thought about 2, but going for 3 is Kyler. And with his speed, or Haas' speed, he is in there. So Haas tearing around there. Once he starts taking off, he's good. Kyler's good arm out there, but not enough to get Haas. That ball was hit pretty deeply. So runners at the corners, nobody out, and Athletics threatening, Aaron.
Haas. Is it Haas or Haas?
Haas. So, Haas. Yeah, and Haas, it's a Dutch name, and it means rabbit.
Every time I think of Haas, I think of the ex-Atlanta Braves manager, Eddie Haas.
Eddie Haas?
Or Haas.
Yeah, it's Haas. So, and that actually means rabbit in Dutch.
Rabbit?
Yep, huh. Means rabbit. Yep.
Huh.
All right. Yeah, a little bit of trivia. So Sammy Hale, hot corner man for these Athletics, hitting just .083 as a run batted in, but 1 for 12 overall. Cochran at first, Haas at third. Malone from the stretch pitching the 1-2 with nobody out. And Sammy Hale, swing and a miss, expanding the strike zone, and that is strikeout number 3 for Pat Malone.
Malone.
Max Bishop now, 333 in the series, 2 runs batted in. Bishop hitting, outperforming a little bit, so 333 in the series, hit 232 in the regular season. Malone from the stretch, pitching with 1 out. The 1-2, high fly ball to center field, and ranging over and bringing it in is Hack Wilson. Tagging a third is Haas. Bluff's going. He will remain at third. And here is Lefty Grove, nothing for 3. In the regular season, he did hit 216, Aaron, with a home run, 15 runs batted in. Stands in the left side of the box. Malone.
For his own cause, or he's trying to.
And this one gets away. This one gets away. Zach Taylor in pursuit, and this one is a wild pitch. And Haas comes home, and Philadelphia with a 1-0 lead thanks to the Pat Malone wild pitch. That's got to hurt.
Shoddy defense.
You cannot defend against the wild pitch, that's for sure.
No.
All right, Lefty Grove back in the box. The payoff pitch coming from Pat Malone to Grove. Grove tried to hold up strike 3. Malone picking up another strikeout, number 4, side retired. But the Athletics do pick up a run on the Pat Malone wild pitch. They strand one in scoring position, and we go to the bottom of the second. Philadelphia 1 and Chicago nothing. What is this? I can see you all pinning him down across the threshold. Say the word. Beatles, say the word. What word am I supposed to? It'll never happen, Todd. It will never, ever, ever, ever happen. And I've been through Canton. And
say the word.
They're talking about taking me to that other game, Hall of Fame. Never going to happen. Except I'd run in there really quick to see Cal Hubbard's plaque, because he's also in the Baseball Hall of Fame, and then I'd leave and go somewhere else. I'd go down to Columbus. Columbus has a really good magic shop, so I'd go down to Columbus. Yep, not going to get me.
Magician props.
Not going to get me in any building that looks like what's rather phallic looking. Cooperstown any day, buddy. I would pay the Hall of Fame to work there, though.
I've been to Cooperstown.
The only reason I'm not saying that word, Big Clue, is the world's worst gamer. Trying to be very considerate in a channel. So from now, I'm calling it that other game. I don't know how long that's going to last, though. But I've been doing it for the past 3 broadcasts.
Kind of like saying Lord Voldemort and Harry Potter.
What was that?
It's kind of like saying Lord Voldemort and Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You know who, you know what. Who must not be named. The sport that must not be named, that shall not be mentioned.
Right. There you go. So speaking of Harry Potter, so really quickly, apparently Hogwarts Legacy getting overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. I might have to pick it up. It kind of looks to me like, but it sort of looks like Assassin's Creed, but in the Harry Potter universe. So I don't know, but people think it's a great game. I don't know, man.
I've not had a chance to play it yet, but I think it does too. I mean, um, of course, there has to be that level of accessibility for me because, like, games like The Last of Us Part Two, which I do have in my collection, have accessibility in
Good.
them,
Well, it's
and
accessibility important.
run around shooting zombies with guns and all
Right.
that, and then having
We're
to see where you're going on top of it.
wondering how Robbie Wartburg is doing on his research on what is a cornholio.
I think he gets. He said he gets it. I think he said he he gets what it means now or something like that. He
Hey,
didn't
I
really
made
have
Big
to.
Clue wince. I, nah, but this one looks really cool. It looks cool, but again, it's kind of like Assassin's Creed in that universe. So I don't know what I'm waiting for Friday. In addition to, I'll be ordering baseball for Windows for you. I am getting the access to, because I'm pre-ordering it, the open beta for Diablo 4. So I think that's what I'm going to be starting my new channel with. Actually, is open beta gameplay of my new YouTube or my other YouTube channel, and that's going to be Diablo 4. So, all right,
Diablo.
Diablo 4, man, this one looks like to be amazing. All right, Grove ready to deal now to Stevenson. Here's the pitch. Rick Stevenson swings, and this one hard hit, but a little bit too high, I think. Way deep to left, we'll see. Nope. Making the catch at the wall is Al Simmons.
Almost had
Stevenson
it.
gave it a ride. I thought this one was gone, but just up a little bit under it. And here is Charlie Grimm.
Yeah.
Here's a Cubs player that really doesn't get a lot of, or a baseball player. Again, not Hall of Fame, but Charlie Grimm, a pretty fine player. In the season, he had 298, 10 home runs, 91 runs batted, an important part of this 1929 Cubs squad. In the series, Charlie Grimm hitting 333 with a run batted in. Lefty Grove has not struck out a batter yet. Grove winds and fires the 2-2 delivery to Charlie Grimm. Grimm cuts and misses, and just as I say, Grove hasn't struck out a batter. He does it. So Lefty Grove
You're a
bringing the
prophet.
heat.
You're
Two
a
down.
prophet.
There we go. All right. And here is Norm McMillan. With a name like that, it's Norm McMillan. Yep. McMillan hitting just 167 in the series. Lefty Grove winds and fires. Count even on McMillan. McMillan cuts and misses, and here comes Grove once again with the heat. 2 strikeouts for Robert Moses Lefty Grove. And we go to the top of the third, and it's 1-0 Philadelphia. Oh, I thought you were going to say something there. That's why I paused. I heard.
Sorry, I didn't realize. So, I am going to pre-order the new MLB, the MLB 23, the show for the PS5, and I'm going to see if it's any better on there than 22 was in the PS4.
Well, I know I'm getting it for the Negro Leagues. They're introducing the Negro Leagues, so I'm really excited.
That too.
I've got to buy a damn PS5, but that's all right. For MLB The Show and the stuff that I've seen Legend Sports Universe do, and the fact that you can just manage in that game, yeah, I'm going to be on that like brown on rice, buddy. All right.
Man.
Yep. Big Miller leads it off here. Miller, 0 for 1 in the game. We're back at the top of the order for the Philadelphia Athletics. Pat Malone has fanned 4 in this game through 2. Has a wild pitch, though, which led to the Athletics' only run back in the second. Malone winds and fires. Payoff pitch to Miller. Miller lays off and draws the walk. So Malone, that one was high and tight. Maybe Malone might be doing a little bit of headhunting. Not sure. Could have gotten away from him. Big Miller, good speed on first for Jimmy Dykes, who is 0 for 1. Miller, a good lead at first. Malone checks the runner. Has the sign from catcher Zach Taylor. The 0-1 delivery, and this one grounded to third. Will they turn 2? It is indeed the 5-4-3 double play. Pitchers gotta love that. So 2 away, 1 pitch, 2 down. And here is Al Simmons, who is 1 for 1. Jimmy Fox waits on deck. Malone winds and fires, count even to Bucketfoot Al.
Strike 3.
And Simmons looks at a called third strike. So Pat Malone bringing the strikeouts today. Philadelphia gets a walk, but that's all. And we go to the bottom of the third. 1-0 Philadelphia. Lefty Grove striking out 2 in the last inning after I said he hadn't struck out anybody. Zach
Well,
Taylor. Go ahead.
it seems like the games go by a lot faster when and with the technology that we're using now.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, like, of course, in the '90s and stuff like that, with the video games, they go pretty quick. But now they got to make it as real like you're watching it on television, which I can understand that.
And there's a big difference, too. This game's
Oh
faster
yeah,
playing than action PC baseball, and it's a little harder to call, too. In one
right,
respect,
because
it's
you've got to
easier
watch it.
because right because you can see what's happening on the field, but the advantage that action PC baseball has is the player labels remain there. Here, you kind of have to you have to look at 4 different places to be able to call this game, and even still, I mean, I've heard like even Al will say, "Oh, that like you heard that one play hit over the first baseman's head," right? Because you're trying to look over and say, "Geez, who's on the first base on the other side?" It's tricky, but it's fun. But it is a of course, we're talking every other batter. But this game plays a little bit more quickly than Action PC. But still,
Right,
I
right.
love this game and looking forward to the next release in, I'm guessing, about 6 weeks. Usually releases at the end of March, 3 days early. I don't think I'm going to opt in for that, though. I'm just going to wait for opening day. Got enough baseball to play anyhow, so
It'll be a glorious day when the
can't
day
wait.
pitchers and catchers report.
Oh, man, yep, happening this week. Grove now fires it in to Zach Taylor, the 1-1. Taylor swings, and this is going to get down for a base hit into center field. So Zach Taylor
Yeah.
aboard as Haas has to play it on the hop. Runner aboard, the tying run for the Chicago Cubs as Pat Malone steps in. Malone's numbers look like this. He is 0 for 2 in the series. Zach Taylor, no real speed there at first, so battery mates now. Catcher at first and the pitcher at bat. Lefty Grove winds and fires. Malone gets the bunt down on the first pitch, and it's a good one. But no, they go to second, and they get Zach Taylor on the fourth. So Jimmy Fox, good heads-up play to cut down the lead runner. Malone does not get it done. It's just a swamp of the runners. And Malone just as slow as Zach Taylor. We go back to the top of the order for the Cubs in the opposite end of the velocity spectrum, and Kyler. Kyler 1 for 1 today. Grove fires it into Kyler. Here is the 3-1. Kyler holds up and draws the walk. So 2 on for Chicago here in the bottom of the third. And that brings up Woody English. English, nothing for 1 today. Kyler, superb speed at first. Pat Malone, non-existent speed at second. And at this point, the Cubs kind of wish it was sort of switched around. Grove now with the 0-2, right? Woody English pops this one high in the infield. And coming in and making the call and the catch is Max Bishop. So Matt Bishop running in hard from second to make that catch. 2 on and 2 down. Go ahead, Aaron.
You've had the Cheers cast on with the Cubs because you had Woody and Norm.
And Woody and Norm, absolutely.
I was just thinking about that. Like Woody Harrelson and Norm. What was his last name? I forgot his last name.
Yeah, I can't remember either at this point.
Norm! He walks into the bar. Norm.
Love it. Had a deadly crush on Shelley Long.
Oh yeah.
Oh right, Rogers Hornsby, 0 for 1. Raja can do some serious damage here. Let's see, with 2 down, Grove delivers to Hornsby. Hornsby swings, and it's a lazy fly ball to right, and down into the glove of Big Miller, calling it from the Hawks. Hitting over. Chicago streams 2. We go to the 4th. It's the Athletics 1 and the Cubs nothing. So talking about, so Big Clue prefers Action PC over out of the park baseball, and nothing wrong with that. You play what you love. I love them both. Action PC, a slight edge because of its ease of use, but I love both of these baseball sims. And if these were the only two I could have and could get rid of all the other ones, including baseball for Windows, I would. I love these two so much. I think the reason being for me, Big Clue, they complement each other perfectly. Each does things that the others can't, and that's why. If I had to make a choice, though, yes, I would definitely go for Action PC Baseball if the choice was forced upon me. I'm glad it isn't. Jimmy Fox, Mule Haas, and Mickey Cochran to lead it off here in the top of the fourth for Philadelphia. The Beast 0 for 1. Pat Malone, 5 strikeouts in a walk through 3 innings of work. The righty deals to Double X. Full count, payoff pitch. Fox swings, hard grounder to short. And easy play for Woody English on the 6-3 put out. 1 up, 1 down for Mule Haas. So Mule Rabbit is 1 for 1. Malone kicks and deals the 1-1 for Haas. And he swings, grounder up the third base line, and this one's going to be for extra bases. Haas going into second, slides, and he is safe. So Philadelphia picking up an extra base hit as that one gets by a diving Norman Millen. Haas is scoring position for Philadelphia, 1 down for Hall of Fame catcher Mickey Cochran. Cochran 1 for 1 in the game. Malone kicks and deals. Singled his last time up. Grounds to English at short. English with the 6-3 put out, and that retires Cochran as Grimm makes the stretch and receives the ball. 2 away. Haas remains at second, and here's Sammy Hale, who's looking for 1. Malone pitching 2 away. The 1-0, and Hale, just a little Texas leaguer over Charlie Grimm's head, and coming in to score is Haas. So Sammy Hale picks up the RBI single. He's now 2-0 Philadelphia. Could it be in our twin bill, Aaron, that the team on the cusp of winning it all will win it all?
Looks like it.
The other one, we changed history with the Cubs winning the series. With this one, should the Athletics win it, of course, they did win the series. And frankly, whether on paper, history, or whatever, not to take anything away, I mean, the Cubs made it to the World Series, but this 1929 Athletics team was nasty, finishing 10 games ahead of the New York Yankees in 1929. Think about that in context. 1927, the Yankees swept the Pirates, came back and did it in 1928 against the Cardinals, and then stopped dead by these guys for 3 years in the American League.
Wow.
And so you still had Ruth and Gehrig. I mean, they stopped Murderers Row essentially for 3 years.
Murderers Row.
And then Connie
I
Mack
guess you could say.
would sell off players, and he did it back in the teens as well. He had great athletics teams, and so what you see a lot of teams doing is they'll hold on to their players, right, to try to keep going. And Mack said, "I'm better off selling a few of my best players and staying in contention." And he was very, very shrewd that way. And so we would see Jimmy Fox eventually going on to Boston, and a lot of these, to the Boston Red Sox, a lot of these players going elsewhere. But Mack able to keep his team afloat, even during the Great Depression. Very, very shrewd businessman was Connie Mack, and a shrewd manager. And to put together a squad like this was just dominant, just absolutely dominant. Maybe for next year's Super Bowl project, we'll do the 1931 series, and we'll see them against the beginning of what would be the Gas House Gang of St. Louis.
Oh, yeah, the St. Louis Cardinals.
There you go. Max Bishop
They're,
now leading
them
it.
in their danky, dirty uniforms.
Exactly, but they were the perfect team for the Great Depression. They really were. In fact, Pepper Martin was out of work. He was a hobo. And Pepper Martin.
Yeah, scrounging for food.
Yeah, the wild horse of the Osage, and they were a grubby, nasty team, and they scratched out every run. I love the Gas House Gang, one of my favorite.
I used to wonder why they were called that. Then according to what my English teacher said, they had a lot of dirty, disgustingly smelling
Oh
uniforms.
yeah, unshaven, the whole thing. They had what a crew,
It
man.
reeked.
Dizzy Dean and DeRocher was
Enos
on that team.
Slaughter.
Yep, just the Gas House Gang, just amazing team. Sammy Hill at first, 2 down. Malone deals now to Bishop. Max Bishop grounder to short, and Woody English is just going to trot over and step on the bag himself for out number 3. 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, a runner left, and Philadelphia adds to its lead. It is now 2-0. We'll check in with Robbie Wartburg, not so much for his research, but to see if he is after this, if he's doing either 1920, I guess he's doing the 1920 season, or if he's doing 1914 Federal League. So Robbie, do let us know. Christopher Slovic coming in saying the 29 A's were the best all-around team ever. So everybody greeting Christopher. World's Worst Gamer, being a Yankee fan, answers it's all subjective, so he doesn't worry about that stuff. And that's cool. That's all cool. So Robbie tonight is doing Federal League, so that's going to be coming up very shortly after this broadcast. You guys get an early night of Robert Wartburg, and I may go over and hang out myself. All right. Yeah, we'll have Aaron talking for a bit more, and then we'll all go to Robbie's house for cookies, but not cornholios.
I could go for some of those chocolate chips.
Snap it to a chocolate chip. Give us some Randy Snap.
Chocolate chip cookie.
Thank you. You read my mind. You read my mind. All right. Good. World's Worst Gamer said he had a good night. He had a good night out last night. Nice. Good to hear at World's Worst Gamer. All right. Hack Wilson to lead it off here for the Cubs in the bottom of the 4th. Be followed by Rick Stevenson and Charlie Grimm. Lefty Grove has fanned 2 and walked 1, and glad to see Christopher could stop in. Way over there, Pakistan. I guess he's just about ready to start his workday. Grove now fires it in, count even on Hack Wilson. Wilson wrapped to first, and up with this ball is Jimmy Fox, and the toss over to Lefty Grove covering for out number 1. Rick Stevenson now strides to the plate. Chicago left fielder is 0-1. And he's at work scheduling meetings and listening to a what-if replay of the 1929 World Series. This is game 2 of our doubleheader. Grove delivers to Stevenson. Cut on, and this one a liner to center, but no problem for Muehlhaus tracking this ball down. So 2 up, 2 down, and we're going to take a quick break. I'll be right back.
While Beatles is off on this break, let's take a look at the chat while we have a brief break in the action. Big Clue says, Todd, you mean are Steve's parts available? Oh. Robbie Warburg says, still have yet to officially announce 1920 project to his channel. We'll have something put together on that soon. Sweet. That'll be really interesting. Christopher Suffolk says, it works schedule. Yeah. Chris, you need to be on radio, man. You need to audition for calling a baseball team on the radio because you got the voice for it, man. I mean, you got the voice for it. I mean, the Reds could use, and well, not that Tommy Thrall isn't doing a bad job, but the Reds could use a good. Hey, they could put you on TV. Of course, they'll give you the old edict of don't call the game because the people can see it. They'll always tell them that. But radio, it's like you want to know the scenario. They tell you what's going on like multiple times. Like, all right, now I know. Make a note of that. I'll make a note of that, Robbie. I'll be sure to check out your channel. There's nothing wrong with a 2-person booth. I mean, especially because whenever I was at school, I would listen to the Reds on the radio, and it was always Marty and Joe. Marty would do the first 2 innings, the fifth and sixth and the eighth and ninth, and then Joe would come in and do the third, fourth, and seventh, and extras if necessary. So they would alternate between themselves, and it was so interesting to hear a former player actually do a play by play of the game like that and stuff. I didn't realize they did that for a while. I was like, no, they do it, yeah. Grumpy Kurt Gowdy. Oh yes, I have heard of Kurt Gowdy many a time. Um, he wasn't calling. I don't think he was calling games in 1990. I think he had retired at that point in his career. But I'm looking for that video of him in 2003 when he was on ESPN calling a Boston Red Sox game. I'm looking for that particular game because that's when they did the whole Living Legend series with ESPN. Because that one night in the summer of '03, they had the what was it? They had Marty Brennaman on ESPN. They had to use. They had Johnny Bench come down or come over and do the radio with Joe because Marty was on ESPN. And I'm looking for the video of Kurt Gowdy trying to call that game in Boston that he did in 2003. He was getting up there in years. But I'd like to hear that. You know, what's the game says LOL. Big Clue says easier to look good from 7,000 miles away. It's how my ex looks less like Satan's mother. King Cash's got the face with the tears of joy going streaming down his cheeks. I mean, but yeah, like, sometimes when you play a video game, you can know the lines of announcers word for word because it's like rinse, lather, repeat. It's like uh, fastball out there, middle of the plate, line for a base hit. Steve Lyon says that in All-Star Baseball '03. I played that game a lot. I've got it on Xbox, my original Xbox, GameCube, and PS2 on my computer. I love the All-Star Baseball series. Grew up on, what was it, ASB 97, 99, all the way up to '05. Um, well, if I can get it to work, and I asked for a '90s pack going all the way up to when Ernie stopped doing, I believe it was '97. So I may go as far as that, but I'm looking to do if I can get the game to be accessible for me. If I can somehow get it to do it, because I highly doubt that NVDA, which is the speech program that I use for my navigation and stuff, I sincerely doubt it's going to work with NVDA is going to work with that sort of project. But then again, I'd also have narrator, so I don't know if narrator would be any help as well. But I'm looking to get a '90s pack going. Um, because I may do something, make maybe a 1990 replay with my the Cincinnati Reds because they won the World Series that year. I might do. I'm not sure, but I've asked for a '90s pack when I actually am able to get the game, which will probably be in a few days now at least, because I go on vacation in the middle of March. We're going to PA for 4 days. Maybe enough time to not. Maybe that might be enough time to hook up with Beatles and grab hook up with some of the fellas and grab a beer. Though I don't drink anymore. But let's see. Worldless Gamer says, honestly, I like when the majority of announcers just shut the heck up. If you're not hard or Scully, don't even bother. The sounds of baseball, the crowd are enough many times. I can understand that. I mean, if you can see it, well, if you can see it, then yeah, that would work out. But to those that have no vision like I do, you have to rely on word of mouth all the time. I mean, you can hear everything, crowd reaction. Oh, screaming and cheering must be something good going on. You know, fireworks going off. Oh, we must have won. You know, or organ music playing, or something. The PA guys talking. You know, I mean, that's what you listen for. But when you can see, it's like, okay, that's what's going on. You know, um, but no, going back to what Ken Castro said, I'm looking to do a 90s pack with baseball for Windows up to 97 because that's when Harwell stopped doing. I think it's when the game stops supposedly. But if I could go all the way up to 2000, but the names wouldn't be said properly, from what Beatles had told me. Because it's like, for example, Kazuhiro Sasaki would be KS in that case. Um, and I want to go as far as the game will go, as far as that particular decade's concerned. Let's see. Big Clue says, World Wars Gamer. Is that a hint for Aaron and Beatles? World Wars Gamer says, no. Big Clue says, damn. Christopher Slovic says, the point of an announcer is twofold. One, to tell you something you don't know, and two, to build suspense. What's That's true. I mean, like listening to a game on the radio is like miles different than listening to it on TV because you know the score, you know the situation, you know everything. They tell you everything that's going on, and multiple times, and within a minute or so. I mean, I'll tell y'all what I could experience is a couple of seasons ago. It was right before the All Star break, and I was in my room. I had my little radio out, and I was getting mad at TV because they were not saying what the score of the Reds game was. Like John, what's his name, and I think it was Jeff Brantley. God love him. We're just talking, calling the game as much. And whenever the thing gonna break, the score would flash, but they would say nothing. It's like, come on. Finally, after about the sixth or seventh thing, I was like, the heck with this. So I got my radio out and I put the radio on the Reds network, and Tommy Thrall was calling the game with Chris Welsh, and Tommy's like, he's calling the game, he's describing what's going on, and telling me, what the score is, what the situations were, what the strategy would possibly be, calling the game like you're supposed to do. And again, on TV, it's like they don't even call the game on TV anymore. I mean, and video games are, it's like you can know what's going on, but it's really interesting. Beatles is still out, by the way. He stepped away from the computer for a second. Christopher Slovic says again, baseball announcers don't do any of that anymore. No, they don't. I mean, they just talk. I mean, like, you know, I'll give you an example of that, Chris. Because one night we were in a Lexington Legends game, which is a minor league baseball, which was a minor league baseball team at the time, and we were playing somebody. I forget who it was. I think we were losing, And it got so bad that Larry just sat there. That was the announcer's name. He was just sitting there talking about Harry Potter. I'm like, what the heck? And I'm thinking, it's bad when your home the team is losing and you sit there and they're only talking about Harry Potter and throwing in little clips about the game. It's like, oh, a base hit in the left field or something like that. But talking about Harry Potter and the books and all that stuff, it's crazy. But there's no suspense anymore. But yeah, like the debate rages on. I mean, it's like I can listen to, for example, Al Michaels do if he wanted to go back and do baseball tomorrow, I'm sure he could do it. I mean, just I mean, like heck, I'd put him on TV in Cincinnati for crying out loud. He used to work with the Reds in the early '70s. Him and Joe Nuxall. But I could listen to Al Michaels call a game. Let's see, it was him, Howard Cosell, and Earl Weaver calling the '83 series with the Orioles and the Phils. I remember that because ESPN Classic shows that game on an occasional basis. And since spring training is going on right now, they're probably doing ESPN Classics, probably trying to occasionally do baseball games and stuff. Of course, you never know. But like calling, like announcing is kind of a lost art these days. I mean, like I said, there's people that have the voice for it. There's people that just, all they do is they want to talk. They go on TV, they just talk about anything and everything. Music, I heard John, what's that guy's name that calls the Redskins on TV? It's John something. Well, him and Barry Larkin were talking about music in the middle of a tied Reds game. I'm like, I think it's Reds and Brewers. I was like, come on, you know, and just the way they've changed things now. It's so sad. I mean, like I could go and listen to I like minor league baseball because the traveling on a bus, for example, the 8 to 9 to 10,000 in attendance is a high. I mean, heck, where the Legends play in Lexington, about a half an hour from where I live, their average attendance, a sellout's 8,000 plus people. But it's kind of it's the traveling. I mean, the pricing of food isn't nuts. I mean, going to Great American for the first time in '03. Heck, I forgot what the price of a hot dog back then was, but dang, Um, but it was my first major league game ever, and I got to go. It was so much fun. Of course, having to move around all the seats, moving around different seats between innings, that was crazy because we'd sit down for a few minutes, then get up and move. Sit down for a few minutes, get up and move. And it's like, then finally, towards the end of the game, they were talking about bad weather coming into the area. So we, my brother and I just kind of got up, started to leave because the Reds were going to lose, getting ready to lose. It was the ninth inning, and had 2 outs, and we we just left and headed for the bus going back, and they were looking for us, and we were on the bus waiting on them. The church people were. Yeah, it's been quiet. Uh, you guys are just letting me. You guys are just letting me talk. That's cool. I don't mind babbling away and talking nonsense in sports, um, but no, like when I was a kid growing up, we did have a PC. It was an old Packard Bell Navigator, and the games I knew we used to play on there one of them was a Star Wars game. One of them was Star Wars. One of them was a something called Toonland. I was only 6 years old. Toonland, and we would buy the CD-ROM games, but a lot of them didn't. You know, I wish I'd known about hardball back then because I would have loved to have played hardball on a computer like that back then. That'd have been fun. But like it's interesting. I mean, being a blind gamer, I always strive to see accessibility in games. It's like, is this doable? When the ball comes at you, is it going to make noise? So you know when to swing. And some games don't do that. Some games do, albeit distantly, but they do. And then, of course, you got, is it going to talk you through the menus and stuff? Some games don't. Some games do. I just want to see what this. Let's see. But yeah, like I had the TV on in the background, where you can hear all the talking. But no, like I used to rent games from Blockbuster when the PlayStation was around, and I'd get like MLB 2002 and whatever the next fighting game was, or any sports game I was interested in. I play all sports games, not just baseball, and it's I stay up to date, or at least try to. It's like Beatles had to see about a man about a horse, says Big Clue. Beatles, he says, be right back, Beatles says. World's Worst Gamer says, interesting. Big Clue says, Beatles had to see a man about a horse. Felipe! Welcome, Felipe! It's time to be ready for a new baseball season. I know, right? Super Bowl is over, and thank goodness for that. Thank goodness for that. The Who Cares Bowl, as I've heard it called. Um, I don't know. I do not know. I'm just, you know, no, like whenever I do get that the baseball for Windows, I'm going to, and it may sound like a stretch, but I am going to do pitch by pitch mode. That way, it's not like, you know, 3-2 count all the time. You swing and a miss, you're out. Take a pitch that misses and you walk. I like to play the game all the way through, but if it's accessible, and I can do exhibition games, which I won't mind setting up lineups. I don't mind doing all that because it'd be fun. Having plus the teams. I'm sure the game comes with teams, but plus the '90s pack that I'll eventually be able to have. And which will include, I assume, all teams and even the all the players from the teams, the Nixons, the Larkins, the Boones, the Sanderses, and all those guys. But no, like it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to giving it a shot. Um, because I've not really done a lot of PC gaming recently, and I wouldn't count emulators as PC gaming because I have 3 cores of DOSBox with RetroArch, and it's rather interesting, but I don't know which one's the best or how to properly run DOSBox. But I'm hoping to get it figured out soon because I see all these people playing like old time baseball and the Tony La Russa games and stuff, and it interests me because I wonder if they're using RetroArch to do it, or if they're actually using a DOS emulator. Which, more power to you if you are. Because I have what was it? I have a bunch of cores with RetroArch. I have Atari, which I wasn't even alive when Atari was around, except for the Jaguar. I was alive when the Jaguar
Hey guys,
came
I'm
out.
back. Sorry, I
Hey, there he
you guys had
is.
no. I had to like actually take care of an emergency, so I'm back.
Oh, everything all right?
I'm not sure yet, so we're gonna go on with this, but I'm kind of monitoring it. All
All right,
right,
man.
so
Well, all
back
right,
to the
man. Well,
game.
we're here.
No, no, no
All
worries, no
right.
worries, no worries. All right, so Charlie Grimm steps back in. I see Felipe Lima de Melo comes in, and as Cousin Ken lets him know, it's always baseball in this channel. Always, always, always. You betcha.
Oswald.
All right. Yep. None of that other crap. All right. So Grimm, where are we? Got to get caught up here. He is 0 for 2, and
Still
here
no.
we
It's
go.
just. I think it's 1-0 still.
2-0.
2-0.
Yep. And Green and Charlie Grimm, inning over. 6-3 put out. We go to the top of the 5th. Still 2-0 Athletics. Lefty Grove will lead it off here, followed by Big Miller and then Jimmy Dykes. Grove 0-for-1 in the contest. Malone with 5 strikeouts fires it into Grove. Grove swings, ground ball to second. Easy play for the Raja, who throws onto Charlie Grimm. 1 up, 1 down, and here is Big Miller. We're back at the top of the order for the Athletics. Miller is 0-for-1 in today's contest. Zach Taylor sets the side. Malone deals. Big Miller swings, long fly ball to right, and cut in the corner.
Oh.
Kai Kyler showing that great range, 2 away. Kyler with excellent range and a very, very
That could have
strong
been
arm
something.
there in right field. So Kyler known, of course, as an excellent base stealer, but also a superb outfielder. Having a great career both with the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Chicago Cubs. 2 down for Jimmy Dykes now. Dykes 0 for 2 in the game. Philadelphia leading this World Series 3-1, leading this game 2-0. We saw Chicago reverse history in the first game of our doubleheader and defeat the Detroit Tigers 4-1. But Chicago looking at defeat. But again, we're just entering the middle innings. Malone deals to Dykes, the 0-1 delivery. And Jimmy Dykes laces this one into left, base hit. So Jimmy Dykes aboard as Rick Stevenson plays it on the hop, gets it back in there. And here's Al Simmons. Simmons is 1 for 2. Jimmy Fox waits on deck, 2 down. Malone with a check of Dykes at first. The 1-0 delivery to Simmons. Weak grounder to short. And they're going to cut down the lead runner. Nice play by Woody English to retire Jimmy Dykes and the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. A man left, and we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's Philadelphia 2, Chicago 0. Norm McMillan, Zach Taylor, and Pat Malone, the number 7, 8, 9 hitters, due up for the Chicago Cubs. McMillan is 0 for 1 today. Grove with 2 strikeouts and a walk. The lefty deals. McMillan swings in the first pitch, grounder to second, and up with it is Max Bishop, making the nice 4-3 putout. 1 away here for catcher Zach Taylor. He is 1 for 1. Cochran has the sign for lefty Grove. Grove deals. Taylor, comebacker to the mound, and Grove having trouble getting to the ball, gets the throw off, but not enough. Infield hit for Zach Taylor, so Chicago picking up its third base hit of the game here in the bottom of the 5th. And here's pitcher Pat Malone. Getting ready to expect him to bunt. Grove deals. Malone does get the bunt down, and it's caught on the fly and thrown to first, and they double up Zach Taylor. The 5th is over. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. We go to the top of the 6th inning. It's Philadelphia 2, Chicago nothing. What a play. We're going to look at that one again.
Nice.
Yeah, certainly it was. And let's look at this. So that bunted in the air, and Zach Taylor was on his way to second. Nailed him. Crazy play. All right, Jimmy Fox will lead it off. He'll be followed by Mule Haas and Mickey Cochran. The Beast, nothing for 2 today.
Beast.
Pat Malone with 5 strikeouts and a walk. Here's the 2-1 delivery. Fox swings, grounder to third. Up and over with it is Norm McMillan throwing on to Charlie Grimm. 1 up, 1 down in the 5-3 put out. Here's the lefty Mule Haas now. Perfect day at the plate for him, 2 for 2. Malone kicks and fires the 0-1 delivery to Haas. Haas swings, this one spanked to left. Base hit. So Philadelphia picking up hit number 7. Robbie Wartburg saying earlier in the chat that he has not officially announced 1920 yet. So it will be 1914 Federal League after this broadcast. All right, here's Mickey Cochran. We'll chat for some baseball for a little bit, pending that everything else is okay. And then we'll hand it off to Robert Wartburg. All right, so Cochran, 1 for 2 in the game. Pat Malone peers in, has a sign from Zach Taylor, 1 down, runner on first. The 3-0 pitch to Cochran. Cochran lays off, ball 4, so 4 straight pitches. Cochran draws the walk. Haas will go to second. 2 on for Sammy Hale. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI. Pat Malone ready to deal now. 1-0 pitch. Hale singled his last time up. This one, just a lazy pop fly to right field and right into the glove of Kai Kyler for the second out. And here is Max Bishop. Bishop nothing in 2 attempts. Haas at second, Cochran at first. Malone deals, and Bishop looks at a called third strike. And the Athletics get 2, but do not score. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. It's Philadelphia 2, Chicago nothing. Aaron?
Swing the bat, man. You want to make contact, you gotta swing the bat into the thing. Yeah.
There we go. And this is why Randy Savage never made it out of the minors. But yes. Anyhow, no. We love Randy Savage.
His arm.
Yep.
Or something like that.
May his memory be eternal.
Yep.
Kyler 1 for 1 and making a great catch out in right field. Lefty Grove deals to Kyler, the 1-1. Here it comes. Kyler swings, routine grounder to third, up with it and over it is Sammy Hale on to Jimmy Fox for the 5-3, 1 down, and here is Woody English. Woody English, nothing in 2 tries today. Grove sets and fires the 3-1 deliver to English. Popped out his last time up, too much English on the ball. And takes inside, ball 4. So Grove issuing walk number 2. And that brings up Rogers Hornsby, who is nothing for 2. Rogers Hornsby famously said that he didn't like to play golf, that when he hit the ball, he wanted other people to go chase it. And he hit the ball well, and lots of people did chase them. So English aboard with 1 down. Grove deals to Hornsby. Here is the 1-2 pitch to the Raja. Flied out his last time up. And Hornsby, hard grounder. And Hornsby will not grind into the double play. So Hornsby on first, 2 down, as Philadelphia unable to turn the double play, and here's Hack Wilson. Hack Wilson is nothing for 2. Lefty Groves, 1-1 pitch to Wilson. Wilson swings and smacks this one hard to center, but it's not going to be enough. Actually, this one gets over there. Nope. Haas making a nice running catch. Looked like it was a leaping and a little bit of over the shoulder. So nice grab from here. It looked like that was going to roll to the wall, but no runs, no hits. There was a walk and a runner left on. We go to the top of the 7th. It's the Athletics 2 and the Cubs nothing. So
Third's over already.
So Malone with 6 strikeouts and 2 walks. Lefty Grove, Big Miller, and Jimmy Dykes. 1-0 now comes to Grove. Grove swings, and this one should get down for a base hit, and it does. So Lefty Grove trying to help his own cause a little bit. 8th hit, as Wilson plays that one on the hop. 8th hit for the Philadelphia Athletics. And here's Big Miller, nothing in 2 tries. Malone, infield at double play depth. Malone's 1-0 pitch, and the bunt is down, and the only play will be to first, and this is going to be close, and safe. So Big Miller,
that was close,
gets the bunt base hit. That's the 9th hit now for Philadelphia. Nobody out for Jimmy Dykes, who is 1 for 3. Philadelphia looking to add to its 2-0 lead here in the top of the 7th. Malone peers in, has the sign from Zach Taylor, the leg kick and the 0-1 delivery. Taylor fouls this bunt back. Malone deals again to Taylor. Taylor swinging away, high fly ball to left. This one has some distance and into the glove of Rick Stevenson. So Grove retreats to second, Miller to first, and it brings up Al Simmons, the number 3 hitter. Simmons 1 for 3, 1 down. Simmons always dangerous. 4 runs batted in the series. Malone deals, full count. Simmons takes inside, and that sets a very, very, very dangerous table. With 1 out, here comes Jimmy Fox. Fox nothing for 3. Fox below the Mendoza line at 188 as of this at bat, only 2 runs batted in. Fox has yet to homer, and we are in the 5th game of this World Series. Bases loaded. Malone has nowhere to put him. Infield in. Outfield, the shift is on for Fox. Of course, wouldn't be allowed to do that. Well, the infield shift, anyhow. Malone wipes a bit of sweat off his brow despite the rather chilly temperatures. Imagine you're Pat Malone facing one of the most dangerous hitters in baseball history with the bases
situation
loaded.
like this, don't pay me.
Exactly.
Don't pay me.
Makes you think of Tug McGraw's frozen ice ball theory.
Oh, man.
Malone from the stretch in the 2-1 to Fox. Fox, clean base hit up the middle, and 1
That's
run
2.
will come in. 2 will come in as the throw to the plate, not even close. 2 RBI single by Jimmy Fox, and it's now 4-0 Philadelphia here in the top of the 7th. Simmons at second, Fox at first. Fox could have done a hell of a lot more damage, but as it is, 2 on, 1 down, and 2 in for Mule Haas, who is a perfect 3 for 3. Pat Malone winds and fires, and first pitch swinging. This one flared out to third base. Infield fly roll in effect, and Norm McMillan makes the catch. So big, big play there for the Chicago Cubs. 2 down, but it doesn't get a lot easier with Mickey Cochran, who's hitting .438 as of this at bat. 3 RBI in the series, including a home run. Malone looking to minimize the damage here. Can he stop the bleeding? Full count to Black Mike. Cochran swings, grounder to second. They should get out of this, and indeed they do. Hornsby up with it onto Grimm. Side retired. We go to the 7th inning stretch, and the Athletics add to their lead. It is now 4-0.
Yeah.
World's Gamer says that Lefty Grove just threw a 4-hit shutout versus his 1927 Yankees. Struck out 12. Grove was nasty. Yeah, Robbie, I thought we mentioned a couple times that Randy Savage was in the minors. What two clubs were they again, Aaron?
The Cincinnati Reds, and he also tried out for the St. Louis Cardinals.
There we go. I saw his rookie card one time. Definitely wasn't the Randy Savage. Yeah, you can find it online. Doesn't look like the Randy Savage that we know from wrestling. He looks like a baseball player.
Though, could you imagine the interviews with him and Joe? Let's say him and Joe Nuxall.
That would have been fun, right?
I can listen to that for. I'd be able to. I would love to listen to that for hours. Though, there is a clip on YouTube of a game in 1989 with the Reds and the Padres in Riverfront, where Randy Savage got to go into the booth with Marty and Joe and did like a whole inning with them. It's so funny. I listened to it, and it was like Joe, like he got to shake hands with Joe Nuxall, and Marty Brenneman said on one of Randy's DVDs, he said Eric Davis was a big Macho Man fan.
Oh, nice.
And
nice.
I remember I was listening to a video on the Wire to Wire Reds of 1990. I think it was the day they won the division. And I don't know who was saying it. It was in the clubhouse. One of the guys said, well, you know something, Mean Gene? The Reds are back on top, bro. He was doing a Hulk Hogan.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
Funny.
Like it.
Rick Stevenson will lead it off here in the bottom of the 7th. Time running out for the Cubs. Just 6 years earlier than our first game where they win it all. Rick Stevenson, 0-for-2. Lefty Grove, not a terribly dominant performance. He is working on a 3-hit shutouts, but only 2 strikeouts and 2 walks for Grove. And he fires it in. The 1-1 pitch to Rick Stevenson. And swung on, base hit into center field. Stevenson will be aboard and will pick up Chicago's 4th hit here in the bottom of the 7th. The Wrigley faithful have not had a lot to cheer about as Charlie Grimm steps in. Grimm batting in the number 6 position. He is 0-for-2. Stevens into his lead. Grove with a 2-2 pitch to Grimm. Grimm swings and misses, strike 3. So that one, that fastball inside, but Grimm trying to swing for the fences. It comes up empty. Grove picks out strikeout number 3, and that's 1 away for Norm McMillan. McMillan is 0-for-2. Grove with a check of the runner. Stevenson has the sign from Black Mike. Here is the delivery. McMillan grounded out back in the 5th. Grove's delivery. McMillan grounds this one down the third base line. Chicago making some noise here, and the throw comes in for the cutoff man. They're going to hold the runner, and base hit, and Stevenson makes it to third. This throw a bit off target, and it looked like for a second that Norm McMillan might have been caught at second, but 2 in scoring position instead for the Cubs here in the bottom of the 7th. And here's Zach Taylor. So Zach Taylor, not exactly known as a home run hitter, but hitting with 2 in scoring position, 1 down, a chance for Chicago to break the shutout. Grove working from the stretch. Taylor swings, grounder to short, and the ball is bobbled.
Oh no!
Jimmy Dykes with a quick snap up, but then drops the ball. That's an E6, and Rick Stevenson does indeed come in to score. And with Lefty Grove's temper, I wouldn't want to be Jimmy Dykes. Should fill it up, whether they win it or lose it. Lefty Grove, known not only for a blazing fastball, but a volcanically hot temper. So
I heard he had a really hot temper.
He did. Really hot. He could wreck entire locker rooms. McMillan in third, Zach Taylor at first for Mike Gonzalez, who come in to pinch hit. So Pat Malone's day is done. The line on Gonzalez in our World Series replay, he's 2 for 2 with a run batted in. Grove from the stretch in the 3-1 to Gonzalez. Gonzalez takes inside, ball 4. The Cubs are in business. Bases loaded and only 1 out. Back at the top of the order now, and Kai Kyler, who is 1 for 2. The Cubs looking for a crooked number here in the bottom of the 7th. No place to put Kyler. Grove with the 0-1. Kyler swings, grounder to second. They throw home, and they do get the lead runner. Good heads-up plate as McMillan gunned down to the plate.
Very smart.
Cochran trying to go for the double play at first, but Kyler just too fast. Bases remain loaded, 2 down. A little bit of heat off of Grove. But again, that error, Grove should already be out of this inning. And here's Woody English. Nothing for 2. Grove once again from the stretch. Full count to Woody English. English swings, hard grounder to third, and they get out of the inning with just 1 run. So they pick up the run on the Jimmy Dykes error. It's 4-1, and we go to the top of the 8th. Philadelphia looking to win it all tonight, and that would be really cool. So that way we don't have to keep these 2 World Series going. One of them finished, and here we go. So Mike Svengross in to pitch, and he has he's worked a third of an inning, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, and an ERA that is absolutely ridiculous. He has finished his warm-up pitches. He'll be facing Sammy Hale, Max Bishop, and Lefty Grove here in the 8th. Svengross wheels and deals the 0-1 delivery to Sammy Hale. He's a lefty. Hale swings, and it's a Hail Mary shot to center and into the glove of Hack Wilson. 1 away for Max Bishop now. Bishop nothing for 3. Svengross with the 3-2 delivery to Bishop. Bishop swings, and this one laced into right, base hit. Max Bishop making the wide turn at first. He will hold. You're not going to run on Kai Kyler. So 1 aboard for Philadelphia, 1 down, and here is lefty Grove. Grove 1 for 3, base hit in this game. Grove gets the bunt down. Svengross up with it. He's going to get the lead runner. So lefty Grove aboard, doesn't get the job done. 2 down, and here is Big Miller back at the top of the Philadelphia order. So they go to second and retire Max Bishop. 1 for 3 in Big Miller in the contest. 2 away. Svengross deals 1-0 delivery to Miller. Miller swings, grounder to short. A little bit of a slow grounder, but again, Woody English making the easy 6-4 put out. Side retired. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It is 4-1 Philadelphia. And the heart of the order coming up for the Cubs. Hornsby, Wilson, and Stevenson. Rogers Hornsby having a disappointing series, hitting .211 with just 2 runs batted in. He is 0 for 3 today. Lefty Grove, even at 3 walks and 3 strikeouts each. Grove with the 2-0 delivery to Hornsby. Hornsby swings, base hit, center field. So Hornsby will see his batting average tick up a little bit, and so
he was 0 for 2 on that.
And now Hornsby aboard, and here's Hack Wilson. Hack Wilson nothing for 3. Also a disappointing series for the big hitter, hitting just 190, 2 runs batted in. So almost a carbon copy of Hornsby, just a little lower in average. Great contact, great power. Grove fires it in, a 3-1 pitch to Hack Wilson. Wilson takes outside, ball 4. 2 aboard for Chicago, and coming to the plate, Riggs Stevenson. Stevenson is 1 for 3. Grove in a little bit of trouble here. Nobody out. 2 on, bottom of the 8th. Cubs down 4-1, but trying to make something happen here. Stevenson represents the tying run. Grove into the line. Stevenson swings, and this one's going to go for extra bases into right field. And the Cubs making it a ball game. 1 run is in, and they're going to hold up the stop sign. Wilson will make it into third. Hornsby scores. Stevenson with the RBI double, and Chicago cuts this Philadelphia lead in half. It is 4-2, still nobody out, 2 in scoring position. Wilson at third, Stevenson at second, and we will see a pinch hitter now for Chicago. Chick Tolson making his first plate appearance. Very
Chick
sort of
Tolson?
light, Chick Tolson, very is a light sort of spray hitter. Just needs to put it in play to get Wilson home, just 90 feet away. Here is the wind and the delivery from Grove. Tolson swings, and he clobbers this to left, back, and gone. And this light-hitting pinch hitter comes in, and anything can happen in baseball. A 3-run bomb, and the Chicago Cubs, all of a sudden, in the bottom of the 8th, lead 5-4. A huge cheer going up here on the north side of the Whitney Stadium.
Listen to that. Listen to the Wrigley Field crowd. Holy cow!
Big bomb there. And
I'll
now
give you the
they're
Harry
waiting.
call a little later for that.
Go ahead and do it now, man.
There's a long drive way back. It might be. It could be. Oh, run! And the Chicago Cubs take the lead in this World Series. Holy cow!
Big wow from Ken Castro. Who expected that? So Chick Tolson comes on. We talk about, we looked at it in his numbers. We look at Tolson's numbers just really quickly here. So Tolson really not a power hitter. We look at past years for him. And he had a home run. Actually, yeah, he did nothing really. This guy was not. Let's look at real life stats here for him. So home runs as a minor leaguer, he had nothing for Cleveland. In 1925, and comes on, does a 2-run bomb, had 4 home runs in the minors, but again, I've seen more. Ask the 1992 Pirates about Francisco Cabrera. Wasn't a bomb, but he kept the Pirates out of the World Series. The Pirates were leading.
Talk about your unsung Eddie. What about Eddie Perez in the 1999 NLCS? You
Right.
talk about your unsung heroes.
Big Clue giving you a big compliment here. You said that was more coherent than any actual call Harry Carey ever made. So good for you, buddy. All right. So here we go. The Cubs
Harry
played.
sounds sober. Harry sounds sober.
Cubs plating 4 here in the bottom of the 8th. They had been behind all the way through already. Talking about Philadelphia taking this series. Now it has changed. Nobody out, bases empty. And here's Norm McMillan. Zach Taylor waits on deck. Lefty Grove delivers the 2-2 to McMillan. Doubled his last time up. McMillan swings, and this one in the gap to left for extra bases. It's falling apart for Lefty Grove. And in there
pulled him already
with a double.
He's already lost the lead.
So McMillan safe with the double. Runner in scoring position, and here come the Cubs. I guess they looked 6 years into the future and saw they changed history, and trying to force a game 6 here. Zach Taylor is 2 for 3 with a run batted. Right? All right, McMillan into his lead at second. Nobody out. Grove still in there, so Connie Mack going to stay with his ace. The 1-0 delivery from Grove. And
Why?
bunt. And Grove's only play, Taylor gets the bunt down. His only play will be to first. McMillan will go to third, 1 down. Chicago still threatening. And we will see whether reliever Sven-Gross stays into pitch or to hit. I doubt it. No, he will. Sven-Gross swings, base hit into right field. Sven-Gross picking up the RBI. Cubs adding to their lead. It is now 6-4 in the bottom of the 8th. Didn't see this one coming at all. And back at the top of of the order, Chicago, with Kyler. Kyler 1 for 3. Grove comes home with it, frustrated, angry, all of it. 1 for 2. Kyler sends this one liner into left. This is going to get down for a base hit. And the Chicago hit parade continues. 22 hits between these two teams in this game, 11 each. Sven Gross at second, Kyler at first for Woody English. English 0 for 3. Looking for a double play here is lefty Grove. The 1-2 pitch to Woody English. Ain't going to be a double play this time. Base hit, right field. And they're going to hold the runner in third. Bases loaded. And
This is getting
oh
ugly.
my, oh my, oh my. It's Rogers Hornsby
Oh
due up.
my.
And Hack Wilson waiting on deck. Lefty Grove in some serious trouble now. 5 runs in for the Chicago Cubs.
Honey, pull him!
And Hornsby, base hit his last time up, has yet to homer in this game.
That might happen. You said he hasn't happened yet. That might happen.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Lefty Grove.
Good.
From the stretch to Rogers Hornsby. Hornsby swings. High fly ball to right, but this one's going to stay in the park. Philadelphia is happy for that. But the runner at third tags, and in to score is Mike Svengros. It is now 7-4 Chicago. And I was talking about a project. Well, this will be a mini project. Should Chicago hold on in our next broadcast, we will be doing Game 6 if that happens. And that will be, don't know if it'll be tomorrow night. Probably back to McGreevy to get it closer to done. Runners on first and third. Kyler on third. English at first. 2 away for Hack Wilson. 0 for 3. Grove deals. Count even on Hack Wilson. Walked his last time up. Wilson could not hold up, and that is a strike 3. But Chicago, huge damage done. 6 runs on 7 hits. 2 men left, and we go to the 9th. Philadelphia down 4 runs. At one time, Philadelphia holding a 4-run lead, and it fell apart in the bottom of the 8th. Philadelphia will send up the number 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the top of the 9th. Jimmy Dykes, Al Simmons, and Jimmy Fox. Dykes 1 for 4. Sven Gross stays on. Came on in relief and scored a run too. The 1-2 delivery now to Jimmy Dykes. Jimmy Dykes swings, high fly ball to right, and going back on this ball and making a catch is Kyler. Dykes gave it a ride, but allowed out. 1 down for Al Simmons. Simmons also has yet to homer in this series. He is 1 for 3. But doing a little bit better than Jimmy, and certainly a lot better than Rogers Hornsby. Sven Gross delivers now to Bucketfoot Owl, the 0-1. Simmons swings, and lazy fly ball to right field, out number 2. So Kyler making a great catch in deep right, routine catch in right, and it's down to Jimmy Fox.
Last hope is Jimmy Fox.
And if Philadelphia doesn't do it, Chicago forces Game 6. Sven Gross peers in, has a sign from Zach Taylor, full count to Jimmy Fox. Singled back in the 7th, and Fox, little grounder to English at short. And the Chicago Cubs force Game 6. And that will be coming up another time on the channel. And that does it for the second game of our doubleheader. Let's do our recap. The Cubs have closed some of the gap between themselves and the series-leading Athletics, winning 7-4 at Wrigley Field today. Cubs pinch hitter Chick Tolson went 1 for 1 with a home run while adding 3 runs batted in and scoring 1. The win cuts the deficit facing the Cubs to 3-2 in this best-of-7 World Series. Tolson turned the game around in the bottom of the 8th. That's when the Chicago pinch hitter dialed in a 3-run homer. Just like that, Chicago's 4-2 deficit turned into a 5-4 lead. And then the next game, when it happens, will be back at Shibe Park. And the player of the game is indeed Chick Tolson, Lefty Grove. Now falls to 1-1 in the series. 8 innings, 12 hits, 7 runs, 6 earned, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. Of course, gave up that big home run. His ERA goes up to 3.71. Pat Malone went 7, 10 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, an ERA of 4.20. Mike Svengross comes in on relief and gets the win. He goes to 1-0, 2 innings worked. Just gave up a hit, and his ERA falls, believe it or not, to 15.43. So that
Wow.
does it. And we will see a game six. It will be Charlie Root and George Earnshaw when we return to this World Series at some point. Main screen. And there we go. Aaron, thank you for taking care of the channel. I had
Don't
to
mention
take a
it.
couple calls. Appreciate
Don't
it.
mention. I just babbled on for
That's all right. It's
20
all good.
minutes.
It's
Blah
all
blah blah
good.
blah blah.
So Robbie
In the hood,
Wartburg
yo.
probably getting ready for his Federal League stuff. Let me just double check for you guys and see what's going on in addition to, or if anything is going on with Robert Wartburg. So Jester now doing some baseball as well. So you're going to have a couple choices. ID Jester is doing Deep Drive Baseball 2022, Modern Baseball for you modern baseball fans. A lot of you there, as am I. And this is going to be
You
the
say
Red
you were gonna
Sox.
do. I'm
Red,
sorry.
Red Sox at Yankees. Robbie Wartburg coming up with 1914 Federal League, and we're almost done here. So pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff here. And
Action going on tonight.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm guessing that other game is probably over, and there we go.
It is.
Yep. So thank you guys. This is this was fun. Sorry it was a little bit more disjointed, but emergencies will. That's the one thing that will always kind of take precedence over baseball. We can.
Hope everything's all right over on there on your end there.
So far so good. Yeah.
That's
So
good.
just
Good.
kind of monitoring the things. So, but anyhow, world's worst gamer. You didn't just. He said, yeah, you didn't just babble. You made it a show. It went well. So there we go.
Hey, I'm glad I could help.
All right.
I'm glad I could help y'all.
Yep. So a big thank you to Aaron Reed.
Y'all.
Yep, I'm going to call it early with Robbie wanting to do a broadcast, which I think is a good thing. And also for those of you that are into more modern baseball, and you have a choice Federal League with Robbie Wertberg or 2022 with ID Jester and some deep drive baseball. Enjoy either broadcast or both. Switch between the two channels. And let me do our thank yous. Again, Aaron, you were awesome as usual tonight. We'll have you on
Thank you.
again soon. Tomorrow night, I'm not sure yet. I'm hopeful we will do one Ned McGreevy game tomorrow night. Ken Castro says, agree with World's Worst Gamer. Good job, Aaron. Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you for our little celebration of our great national
Sure.
pastime. Um, and, let's continue our tradition of just getting together and having a lot of fun. Pitchers and catchers report.
Sharing the beer.
Pitchers and catchers report this week. Um, it's going to be an interesting
Oh yeah.
season with all the rule changes, larger bases, the pitch clock, the shift is not allowed. Um, Pretty soon they're going to say the hitters aren't allowed to swing at pitches. Who knows what's going to happen? But at least right
And
now
there with
it's
a
still
bat, looked like
baseball.
a caveman. Ooga ooga.
Right? Exactly. So everybody, thank you. Todd B reminding everybody to hit the like button, and indeed they have, and people are going out the turnstile. So I want to thank Todd B, Ken Castro, cousin Ken, for again just inspiring another great Super Bowl bit of fun, and that was nice. And World's Worst Gamer says, everyone take care, eh? As he is from Canada, and have a
Eh,
good week ahead.
yeah, eh?
Awesome. All right, so World's Worst Gamer, Todd B, cousin Ken Castro, Robbie Wartberg, Big Clue, Felipe
Oh,
Lima de Melo,
man.
and let me see, who else do we have?
In
He has
Canada, they always we're always not all Canadians say this, but they're all going out.
right, Christopher Slovic,
Out.
right, and you'll hear some Irish will also say that as well.
Good
Christopher
crack.
Slovic, good crack. Todd B, we said Todd B already. We had Todd be very, very active tonight in the chat. It was great to
Big
see
clue.
Todd. Yep, Big Clue, man. Can't forget Big Clue ever, ever, ever. Steve Tate stopped in for a while, said he'd be checking back in after some family time. And but obviously family time, and that's all good. D. Scott Howard was with us here tonight as well, as was Cleve Baseball Fan 879 and an MV. I'm not sure if we got anybody. This only goes back so far, so can't see back into the very, very beginning of
That's
the
too far.
broadcast. But I do think we got everybody, and I always say thank you to Midlife Crisis, even when he is not here. All
Yeah.
right, so that's it. Thank you guys, and we'll send you off to Robbie Wartburg and ID Gesture if you're looking for more baseball. Aaron, thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and just cut off Discord here and
All
close the
right, dude.
stream. Take care, my friend, and I'll be in touch
You
this
too,
week, and
man.
we'll start getting some stuff going for you. All right?
All right, dude. Well, let me know.
All right, absolutely. Good night, man.
All right, ciao.
All right, ciao. And to you guys, means a lot that we came in tonight, that you guys came in tonight and hung out for a little while for some baseball. And we'll see you around the batting cage.